Chapter 1375. I have no objections. At this moment, the divine emperor agreed. Give it to the Tao tree. Sending the Tao tree here had been part of his plan. Although there had been some unexpected factors involved, he could still accept the fact that the seed was the Tao returning tree. The divine emperor didn't object, the spirit emperor didn't say anything, and the East emperor also remained silent. Obviously, the three emperors had agreed. At this moment, the Tao tree was back in human form. Even Breaking Nine could not contain his excitement, proving the way. Thank you, Master, for fulfilling my wish. Thank you, Martial Uncles. The Tao tree bowed, slightly. Emperor Ling sneered. Emperor Dongwang nodded slightly, smiling without saying a word. The three sovereigns agreed. Together with the Tao tree and the celestial arch, they were invincible here. As for the West Emperor and the others, did it matter whether they agreed or not? Just as everyone agreed, the Tao tree was about to take the seed when someone chuckled and said, "Congratulations, Tao tree sovereign." No, what about the Tao emperor? Not good. Tree emperor? Demon sovereign? Fong Ping stood up and cupped his hands in salute. He smiled and said, "I'm about to become an emperor. What emperor title should I use?" Fong Ping seemed to be having a headache. Why don't we call him Emperor Elite? How about the elite from Fairy? The Tao tree looked at Fong Ping coldly. Now that things had come to this, could it be that Fong Ping was still thinking of something else? In the air, Celestial Emperor was also looking at Fong Ping. After looking at it, for a while, a thoughtful look appeared on his face. This generation's seed. The Celestial Arch murmured and looked at Zhang Tao. He frowned slightly and seemed to have thought of something. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was not in a hurry. He was a little curious. He smiled and said, "Seeds? Seed of rebirth? I'm the seed of rebirth?" The celestial sovereign remained silent. On the other side, the divine emperor said lightly, "This seed is not that seed. Perhaps you can understand it as what you call the son of destiny, and the son of destiny is the seed of rebirth." Fong Ping understood. The seed son? The son of heaven's meaning? Do I have such a powerful background? Not simple at all. Fong Ping seemed a little narcissistic. The entire three realms were watching his performance. Some had a playful smile on their faces, while others frowned in silence. Of course, he wasn't surprised. If Fong Ping was not the son of destiny, then who was? Previously, they had thought that this generation would be Zhang Tao, but now it seemed like it was Fong Ping. Fong Ping seemed to have thought of something. He asked curiously, "I'm this generation's son of destiny. Could it be that you, Celestial Emperor, are the previous generation's son of destiny? Does that mean we're brothers?" Daring was not enough to describe him. The Emperor God and the others frowned in silence. Fong Ping smiled playfully. "The ninth Emperor is my nephew, and the Tao tree is my grand disciple. Tao tree, do you want to call me Grandpa?" The Tao tree's chi activity surged, and there was a loud explosion in front of Fong Ping. At this point, Fong Ping was still speaking so rudely. Did he really think that the heavenly king suppression could protect him? "Don't touch me. I'm the child of destiny. If I die, who will draw the seed out?" Fong Ping said lazily, "Take it easy. I'm your life-saving straw." "What are you doing? You want to kill me? Why don't you see if the others will agree?" The Tao tree sneered and said coldly, "If you die, the three realms will still be the three realms. Without you, there will still be someone else." Fong Ping had overestimated himself. Even if Fong Ping died, someone else would step forward and inherit everything. Of course, there might be some delay. However, he had waited for so many years. What could he do if he waited for another few decades? Fong Ping's rise did not take many years. Could he not even wait for a few years? Of course, if Fong Ping did not seek death, these emperors would not deliberately kill him. Fong Ping sighed and looked at the celestial emperor. He ignored the Tao tree and said slowly, "You are the celestial emperor, the master of the ninth emperor. Although it's just a projection, you should know more than the ninth emperor. I want to ask you a question. Can I?" The celestial emperor looked at him and was silent for a moment. He said softly, "Ask. In this world, can someone evolve a new 3 realms?" Fong Ping looked at the heavenly realm around him and thought for a while. "It's like this, like the heavenly realm you evolved, but more real than this." The celestial emperor frowned. On the other side, the emperor's expressions changed slightly. The emperor god looked at Fong Ping. Without waiting for the celestial emperor to speak, he suddenly laughed. "Evolving a world. It's not difficult. With the help of the seed's power, it can be done. Just like here, the seed projection here is not very strong. Of course, to you, it's already extremely strong. The seed has projected many times in the past tens of thousands of years. The first time should be about 40,000 years ago when it manifested as a beginner. The second time was about 30,000 years ago when it manifested as an origin. The third time was about 30,000 years ago when someone captured a trace. It might have found the location of the real body, and the real body escaped, leaving behind a projection. This place should be the fourth time. After the immortal source was successfully cast, some rules were broken, and a projection appeared here. The emperor god said slowly, "Each time, the seed's power is different. This place is illusory. Only the 13 passes are more real. The heavenly realm is more illusory. If the seed's power is enough, the heavenly realm can also evolve like the 13 passes. When that time comes, it will be difficult to distinguish the real from the fake. How many non-emperors can distinguish the real from the fake?" Fong Ping and the others also knew that this place was fake. Otherwise, could they distinguish the authenticity of the emperor's projections when they appeared? Fong Ping nodded and looked at the celestial emperor. The celestial emperor also looked at Fong Ping and said slowly, "Have you seen such a world before?" When Fong Ping heard this, he was a little shaken. Did the celestial emperor not have many memories, or did it really have nothing to do with him? Heavenly King Garrison said that the celestial emperor might have the idea of letting him fill in the hole. But now, the celestial emperor was asking if he had seen such a world before. Was it a projection that he did not know, or was the celestial emperor pretending? Or was he not the celestial emperor's underling? That world, the earth in his previous life, might be someone borrowed the seed's power and evolved into an earth. Evolved according to the earth after the martial arts destruction? 8,000 years ago. 8,000 years ago, the heavenly realm was destroyed, and the human world was destroyed. If martial arts were completely destroyed in the human world, would it really evolve into the earth later? As for Sun City, Sino Nation, Earth, even 2 worlds had Fong Ping. It might be the inevitable trajectory of development. If someone followed the human world situation 8,000 years ago and evolved a world after the martial arts destruction, it might really develop into the earth that Fong Ping saw. Fong Ping pondered. The seed's power. The person behind the scenes might not have completely relied on himself, but he borrowed some of the seed's power to do all this. If that was the case, the person behind the scenes might not have to be very strong. Emperors could do it. It was nothing more than borrowing the seed's power. It was not like the emperors personally contributed to evolve a great world. If that was the case, there would be more suspicious targets. However, the heaven-exterminating emperor had said that the 3 emperors' power might have been borrowed by Fong Ping. Thinking of this, Fong Ping did not answer the celestial emperor's question. Instead, he asked, "Are the 3 emperors really dead? Who killed them?" after killing them, who took their remains. The celestial emperor gave him a deep look, frowned slightly, and did not answer. Some of Fong Ping's words made him fall into some memories. World, evolved world, this should not be Fong Ping's thought. Unless he had seen it before. 30,000 years ago, the sun god evolved the world, wanting to rebuild the three realms and build a new Yang realm. The sun god opened up his own path in the new Yang realm and became the Yang realm's god of creation. That time, the celestial emperor defeated him, because rebuilding the three realms would also draw out the three realms' power. So the celestial emperor stopped it. But that was 30,000 years ago, a very, very long time. That world was also destroyed by him. Could it be that Fong Ping had seen the sun god, or had he been to that world? Although that world was destroyed, there might still be some remnants. Did Fong Ping see that broken world? The celestial emperor fell into deep thought. In the past 10,000 years, the sun god had hardly appeared. Could it be that he had not given up and was still continuing in the dark? But the power of the seed projection had collapsed, unless the sun god found another place where the seed projection was, and it had to be stronger than here, much stronger. This place could only be enough to break through the 9 levels and prove the Tao Emperor, and the energy of the evolved world was not enough to break through the 9 levels and prove the Tao Emperor's power. It had to be at least 10 times or 100 times the power. The powerhouses were all deep in thought. There were some things that everyone understood, and some things that they might not know so clearly. Fong Ping's question, to them, was also a question of seeking knowledge. The celestial emperor looked at Fong Ping and said with a faint smile, "No one knows whether the 3 emperors are really dead or not. At this realm, no one dares to say that they are really completely destroyed." Fong Ping smiled and said, "Then who killed them?" The celestial emperor looked at him and did not answer. Fong Ping said again, "Lord Celestial Emperor killed them?" The celestial emperor was still silent. The Tao tree was impatient. He could not wait to pluck the seed and break through the 9 levels and prove the Tao. If he delayed, there would be changes. He did not have time to talk to Fong Ping. Ignoring Fong Ping, the Tao tree soared into the air and went to the seed. Fong Ping also soared into the air in an instant and punched. The Tao tree was originally unwilling to pay attention to him, but at this moment, Fong Ping suddenly punched. The Tao tree was a little annoyed, bent over and slapped down with a palm, a little sullen. "Fong Ping, don't seek your own death." The celestial emperor and the others also looked at Fong Ping, frowning in silence. Seeing that the Tao tree did not go to the seed, Fong Ping smiled and said, "Senior Tao tree, it's not easy for us to come here, and we've fought to the death. This seed is so big. Shouldn't you share some with us? You make us work, but you don't give us any grass to eat, and you want us to milk it. Isn't it too cruel?" The Tao tree's face was cold. "Fong Ping, do you really want to die?" Fong Ping ignored him, looking at the underworld god, who was defeated by the celestial emperor not far away. Fong Ping sighed, pointing at the underworld god. "Look, the underworld god is also your senior. Doesn't he just want to drink some milk? The seed is so big, can't you share some with him? In the end, how cruel you are. As a bystander, I can't stand it anymore. It's not easy for beginners either. A group of seniors, not many of them are still alive now. The existence who created martial arts. Although killing Tsang Mao annoys me a little, no matter what, he has made a great contribution to martial arts. Can't you give him some benefits?" The underworld god looked at Fong Ping, his eyes no longer bright, a little gray, being suppressed by the celestial emperor's projection, and failing to seize the seed was a great blow to him. And now, the celestial emperor and all parties had reached an agreement to let the Tao tree prove. For beginners, this trip was already a failure. In the underworld god's eyes, Fong Ping's words were more like ridicule. The underworld god looked at Fong Ping. A little pity. Yes, pity. Beginners were defeated. However, Fong Ping, could you continue to be so domineering? Do you really think the human race still has a way out? The human race will only be worse than beginners. He laughed bitterly. They were in the same boat. Fong Ping was high profile now, but in the near future, he might be more miserable than him, more painful. You accept your fate. In his ears, Fong Ping's faint voice came. The underworld god looked at him, his eyes flickering slightly. I don't accept my fate. Fong Ping looked straight at the Tao tree in front of him, not at the underworld god, as if he was talking to himself, to the underworld god, to the three realms. This thing about fate, I don't believe in it. I only believe in myself. Manpower can fix the sky. All unfairness, dissatisfaction, injustice, it's because you're not strong enough. When you're strong enough, you can overthrow everything and control your own fate instead of expecting others to pity you. As Fong Ping spoke, his vitality gradually overflowed. At this moment, a bright sun rose in the sky. The Tao tree's expression was cold. Fong Ping wanted to stop him. The underworld god's eyes lit up, moving a few steps slightly. Fong Ping wanted to attack. Then he could join forces with Fong Ping and attack the Tao tree together. Of course, the result would inevitably be failure. I don't believe in fate. Fong Ping's voice shook heaven and earth. Fate is in your own hands. A Changdao appeared in Fong Ping's hand, laughing loudly. Opportunities, the future, it's all fought for with your saber and spear. Who can decide my future? Not even Celestial Emperor. Sonorous and forceful. I want the seed. Did you ask me for permission to take it? Fong Ping berated. His voice shook heaven and earth. The Tao tree sneered. Stubborn. Did you ask me? Fong Ping roared again. Rumble. Vitality burned. The force shattered the sky. The Changdao pointed at the Tao tree, at Celestial Emperor. You guys count for nothing. Fong Ping laughed. Is it up to you to decide who it belongs to? Ridiculous. Courting death. The Tao tree was unwilling to wait any longer. With a low roar, a crystal-clear tentacle pierced through the void, heading straight for Fong Ping. Hum! The Changdao slashed down, so fast that it could not be seen. The void trembled slightly. Kacha! The sound of something breaking rang out. Everywhere was silent. Bang! One by one, the roots broke completely. The Tao tree's expression changed. Although this attack was not full strength, it could deal with the broken eight. Even if Fong Ping could block it, he would not be able to cut off his roots. Fong Ping was stronger than expected. Below, Heavenly King Zhen laughed bitterly, shaking his head slightly. He slowly stepped into the air and looked at the crowd. Finally, he looked at Spirit Emperor and said with a smile, Spirit, long time no see. It's better to chat with this old man. Spirit Emperor frowned, looking at the Tao tree and Fong Ping in the sky, and said coldly, Zhen, do you think he can match the Tao tree? Let's try. Heavenly King Zhen smiled. This time, he was very gentlemanly. He bowed slightly and saluted. Over there, please. Spirit Emperor sneered and stepped into the air. In an instant, the two of them appeared on top of a mountain in the void sky realm. In the sky, the Tao tree laughed. Fong Ping actually wanted to stop him and the powerhouses of the other parties. Who did he think he was? The Tao tree was not in a hurry to make a move. He also wanted to see how these people would choose. The Forging God Envoy, and the others looked at each other. The Forging God Envoy looked at the Heavenly Hound and the others and grinned. Old Devil Lee has exploded. Everyone, we seem to be a little weak. It was a little weak. Even if he, the Heavenly Hound, Sherpa, and the others joined forces, they might not be able to match up to a breaking 9. Sai, I still have to rely on you at the crucial moment. The god envoy was helpless. In the next moment, dozens of figures appeared beside him. The divine spear is here. The divine blade is here. The divine rod is here. Dozens of avatars appeared. They were all very strong, and they seemed to have been recast with life force. The god envoy sighed and said, "This time, I wonder how many avatars will die. My path to invincibility." Sigh. The heavenly hound bared its teeth. Its teeth were snow white and no longer golden. It sneered and said, "What nonsense are you spouting? This emperor likes to do such a big thing the most." As he spoke, he gritted his teeth and said, "Celestial Emperor, I am the one. One is real and one is fake. That is fake. Let's go and meet him." The god envoy said helplessly, "The plan is not like this. It's all the same." The heavenly hound was too lazy to say anything. It quickly broke through the air and headed straight for the celestial emperor. The god envoy was helpless. Forget it. The celestial emperor was the celestial emperor. In the next moment, everyone broke through the air and flew towards the celestial emperor. Below, Moon Spirit's expression changed for a moment. She did not stay any longer and quickly followed these people. Everyone, it's our turn." Hong Kuan also smiled. Interesting, the show had begun. In the next moment, Hong Kuan's group broke through the air. Dong Huang looked at them and frowned slightly. He allowed them to surround him and said, "Do you think he is hope? Let's give it a try." Hong Kuan smiled and spread out his hands. "Uncle Dong Huang, please." Dong Huang looked into the distance and said indifferently, "Let's go to the heavenly Sun Mountain." Hong Kuan had no objections. It was a little far from here. At this moment, the heaven realm was evolving into Dong Huang's lecture on the heavenly Sun Mountain. It was good to go there and take a look. The group of people quickly flew towards a huge mountain in the distance. On the God Emperor's side, the fake God Emperor chuckled and said, "Cheong, we are one. Why don't we go to the peak of the heavenly court and find someone to distinguish the real from the fake?" Cheong looked at the fake God Emperor and said with a smile, "All right, this old one also wants to see who exactly you are. I am you, you are me. Whoever wins is the real one." The fake God Emperor smiled brightly. The two of them flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye, appearing in front of the magnificent building in the distance. The heavenly court, Emperor West, who was entangled with the beginner martial powerhouses, looked around, then looked at Skyarm and the others who were desperately entangled with him. He said helplessly, "I am just here to see the situation. Why are you fighting with me?" Skyarm ignored him. At this moment, Skyarm's eyes revealed a look of shock. Fong Ping's group of people wanted to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. How dare they? This was not like before, when the emperors each had their own thoughts. Now, with the celestial emperor's mediation, all parties had reached an agreement. Fong Ping actually dared to attack. Looking at the dejected underworld god in the sky, Skyarm gritted his teeth and shouted, "Stop Emperor West! Don't let him interfere!" Illusory and the other beginner martial powerhouses all unleashed their auras. Stop Emperor West. Emperor West was the variable. As for whether Fong Ping and Underworld God could match the Tao Tree, no one had any hope. They knew the possibility was not high, but they still hoped that even if they could not defeat the Tao Tree, they would at least make the Tao Tree fail. Zhang Tao and Ironhead broke through the air and quickly stood behind Fong Ping. Underworld God also came with a sickle, one in front and one behind Fong Ping, blocking the Tao Tree's path. The Tao Tree looked at these people and smiled. Just this. Underworld God and Fong Ping, 2 Broken 8, even if they were both at peak Broken 8. adding a broken 7 and a person who had forged jade bones, but had not even reached broken 6. Could they stop him? They were underestimating the Tao tree too much. In this place, the Tao tree was the strongest. Whether it was the Divine Emperor or the Celestial Emperor, if a clone and a projection really fought with him, they might not be able to outlast him. These two were the top powerhouses among Broken 8, and Fong Ping was slightly stronger than expected. But with such a lineup, it was still possible to delay a Broken 9 clone. But to delay him? Was this Fong Ping's capital? Not bad. I also did not expect that at this moment, these people are actually willing to accompany you to fool around. The Tao tree praised. Very good. At this point, there were still people willing to take risks with Fong Ping, beyond his expectations. But with this kind of strength, to stop him, did Fong Ping underestimate himself and overestimate himself? How about this? Fong Ping's aura changed. In the next moment, Old Zhang and Ironhead merged into his body instantly. Fong Ping's physique grew a little, and outside his body, Emperor armor appeared. Originally, Fong Ping's vitality outburst was as high as 35 million calories. At this moment, there was another increase, close to 37 million calories. With the chaos-vanquishing saber in hand, there was some enhancement. At this time, although Fong Ping had not reached Broken 9, he was infinitely close. The Tao tree looked at him and smiled. Is that it? Is it not enough? Fong Ping chuckled. The amount of vitality is not the key. The difference of a few million cal is actually not much. Behind him, Underworld God sighed a little. It sounded simple, but there was still a huge difference. Fong Ping, what a pity. If Chua was not stopped by Emperor West, like last time, merging with Fong Ping might be able to reach Broken 9. Fong Ping was not impatient. He said again, Underworld God, how much is your mentality? Underworld God saw that Fong Ping was eyeing him and sighed. About the same as you. Although he was a powerhouse of the physique, he had lived for too long. His mentality was not considered weak either. Although it had not reached the stage of qualitative change, it should be similar to Fong Ping, perhaps reaching the limit. Just a step away from transformation, Underworld God nodded slightly. Why don't you not resist and try? Fong Ping smiled. Actually, I'm worried about you, afraid that you will stab me, but I hate this tree more. Why don't you try merging with me? Just don't stab me. Underworld God looked at him, but Tao Tree stared at Fong Ping, ignoring the Underworld God. After watching for a while, Tao Tree seemed to notice something, saying indifferently, forcefully merging is like a joint attack combat technique. Too bad it can't last long. Even if it's a Broken 9, vitality won't flow smoothly. Afterward, your vitality will be greatly damaged. If you want to merge, I'll fulfill your wish. Just nice, once and for all, I won't have to be harassed by you ants. A Broken 9 who could not last long and a powerhouse who could break 9-9 on their own were completely different. When that time came, when Fong Ping was defeated, Underworld God's vitality would be greatly damaged once and for all. Senior Tao Tree is really noble and unquestionable. Underworld God, do you want to try? Underworld God looked at Fong Ping, his heart filled with determination. He was really betting his life on Fong Ping. Gritting his teeth, Underworld God charged toward Fong Ping swiftly. Fong Ping tried for a while and smiled. Underworld God's mentality was not as high as his. True, he was 99,999 hertz, 1 hertz short of a qualitative change. Even if Underworld God was as high as 90,000 hertz, he could still merge. In the next moment, Underworld God merged into Emperor Armor instantly, his head appearing on Emperor Armor's chest. Fong Ping felt the changes in his strength. 39 million, 40 million, Underworld God was too strong. Even if the amplification provided to Fang Ping after merging was not too much at this moment, it still made Fang Ping experience a huge change. Left hand holding Underworld God Scythe, right hand holding Chaos Vanquishing Saber. At this moment, Fang Ping felt power, immense power, the power of a broken 9. Boom. Dao Tree moved. It seemed to be waiting for such an opportunity. Fang Ping had just increased his strength. His control of it was not enough. He might not be as strong as before. Now was the opportunity, the best opportunity. In the void, countless roots were like sharp swords. Tens of thousands of swords shot toward Fang Ping at the same time. Fang Ping shattered the void and dodged slightly, but he still could not avoid it completely. Bang, bang, bang. On top of Emperor armor, a burst of fire appeared. Dao Tree sneered. Forcefully breaking 9 might not be as strong as breaking Peak 8. It even saves me a lot of trouble. Is that so? Fang Ping slashed down with his saber, breaking countless roots, chuckling. At least my strength is stronger now. That's if you can control it. The Dao Tree sneered. This time, its speed was unbelievably fast. Before Fang Ping could react, he was surrounded by the Dao Tree's apparitions in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. A series of sounds were heard. Emperor armor was hit until it was dented. Fang Ping, you're too naive. Dao Tree was not afraid at all. Fang Ping's speed was not as fast as him, his reaction was not as fast as him, and his strength was not unified. No matter how strong his strength was, he was just a target. Moreover, the duration was short. How could he fight him? Attacks were coming from all directions. In the blink of an eye, a muffled groan came from inside Fang Ping's body. Iron Head could not withstand such damage and could not hold on any longer. Iron Head, be more reliable. Fang Ping cursed. Right now, he was not burning his Dao. Just like what Dao Tree said, his strength control was not in place, his speed was not as fast as Dao Tree, burning now was useless. He was waiting. Fang Ping was waiting for an opportunity, waiting for Dao Tree to lower its guard and get close. Burning his Dao, going all out. With one blow, he would finish off his opponent. And this required him to be able to endure. Fang Ping was not a greenhorn. After many battles, he could afford to wait for an opportunity to kill in one blow. Dao Tree, I can't kill you, but can you kill me? I can afford to wait with you. But Seed, I feel like I'm about to wake up. When I wake up, it'll be great to run away. Fang Ping was provoking Dao Tree, his laughter shaking the sky. How long can you wait? I won't let you succeed. Once the mystic realm is broken and the other emperor's true bodies arrive, will they let you continue to be free and unfettered? Dream on, let's see if you die first, or if I die first. You're asking for it. Dao Tree was furious. Fang Ping had indeed wasted a lot of his time. Once the seed projection woke up and escaped, the mystic realm would be broken. Then there would be no hope of achieving Dao verification. Countless roots were getting fiercer, attacking Fang Ping from all directions. Fang Ping, on the other hand, only defended and did not attack, making it clear that he was wasting time. Come on, I can still hold on for 5 more minutes. You continue. 5 minutes is enough for Seed to wake up. The mystic realm will be broken. Fang Ping laughed loudly. In all directions, the other powerhouses almost did not make a move at this moment. On Celestial Emperor's side, Heavenly Dog, and the others were also stalling for time, only surrounding and not attacking. Everyone's hopes were on Fang Ping. If Fang Ping did not succeed, everything would be for naught. It was not that easy to kill Broken 9. Chapter 1376. Rumble. The Dao Tree swiftly attacked Fang Ping. It was extremely powerful. This was Breaking 9. At this moment, even the 3 realms were reflecting this battle. This was even more powerful than the attacks of the Emperor clones from before. Those clones had only broken through to the 8th level, burning everything in their path. Their final attack had only broken through to the 9th level. All of this was reflected in the 3 realms. But previously, many 9th breakers had fought, but none of them had reflected the 3 realms. From this, it could be seen that those people had not used their full strength at all. Outside the 3 realms, 2 figures illuminated heaven and earth. One of them was wearing emperor armor, but he was being suppressed by the other, unable to retaliate. One of them was extremely fast, and he kept killing the experts in the arch armor. This scene reminded everyone of the battle between the Celestial Arch and the Celestial Arch. Back then, the battle between the 2 of them was somewhat similar to today. That's the Tao Tree? Who is the person wearing the Arch armor? Fang Ping. In the void, there were experts conversing. When Fang Ping broke through the Vitality Gate that day, he had also integrated all the beginner martial artists. The person wearing emperor armor should be Fang Ping. He has integrated Li Hansong. What a strange ability. How did this person manage to fuse so many experts? I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with seeds. The experts spoke one after another, communicating with each other. At this moment, outside the secret realm, the void trembled. Many experts teleported here and secretly observed the situation. In the depths of the heavenly tomb, on the heavenly grave continent, a few beginner martial artists had disheveled hair and looked like crazy demons. One of them looked at Fang Ping, at the emperor armor, and at the inconspicuous head on the emperor armor. Suddenly, someone screamed, "Dark! It's Dark! Dark is fighting with that person." Who is that? Roots. It's a demon plant. Such a powerful demon plant. Is it the tree that Xiong cultivated? Kill that tree. The beginner martial artists roared crazily. Kill the Tao tree. Xiong, Chu Wu's traitor. The few beginner martial arts powerhouses that were suppressed here were all crazy. They were extremely hostile to Source and would even kill anyone they met. At this moment, when they saw Ming and the man in the arch armor being suppressed, these beginner martial artists wished they could take their place. Kill the Tao tree. Tianchun, you're courting death. At this moment, several experts were in the midst of breaking the seals. Tianchun, who was on the periphery, immediately noticed them and started suppressing them. Tianchun ignored them and looked at the 2 phantoms with a slight frown. Fang Ping, the Tao tree, the 2 of them actually started fighting. Judging from the speed of the battle projected by the projection and the destructive power of their attacks against the arch armor, the 2 of them should have the power to break through to the 9th rank. The Tao tree, on the other hand, was not surprising. Fang Ping had also demonstrated the combat strength of a break 9 strike last time, but this time it seemed like it lasted longer. The Heavenly Emperor battle stage. Zhan Tiandi had already walked out of the small house, and he looked in that direction. He wanted to take a few steps forward, but he stopped every time. "Master, let me go." "Don't speak." Zhan Tiandi sent a voice transmission to his attendant. The attendant had already fallen silent, but he was still worried about him and wanted to fight. Zhan Tiandi chided. He frowned and looked over. At this moment, the commotion of the battle was huge. Even through the barrier, he could see everything clearly. On his shoulder, Second Cat was also watching. Its eyes widened. Big Cat Master is so awesome. He borrowed the Force to come. Zhan Tiandi explained, hesitating. After all, it is an external force, and the Force cannot be merged into one. The Tao tree is the true break 9 strike. Although Fang Ping has broken 9, his force cannot be merged into one. He can injure the Tao tree, but there is no hope of killing the Tao tree. If this continues, Fang Ping will definitely lose. Second cat scratched its head. Then, are we going out now? Fighting the Tao tree, or the old celestial emperor. Initially, I just wanted to. Jean Tiany wanted to say something, but stopped. Initially, he just wanted to destroy these people's plan and kill the celestial emperor's projection, causing the celestial emperor's plan to fail. But now he was hesitant. He looked at the other parties. At this moment, these people were still in a stalemate and had not joined the battle. Jean Tiany exhaled lightly. Although he did not need to breathe for a long time, he still maintained this habit. He said softly, "Wait a little more." "Still waiting?" Second cat said dejectedly. "If we wait any longer, this place will be broken. Big Cat is still there. I haven't gone to see Big Cat yet." "Wait a little more." Jean Tiany comforted. "It won't break so quickly. Wait a little more. I don't have to waste my strength on the Tao tree anymore." Waste. If the Tao tree heard this, it would probably die of anger. Naturally, Jean Tiany was not in the mood to think about this. A faint glow appeared in his eyes. This person had exceeded his expectations. However, if that was all, he might not be able to succeed this time. If I can keep suppressing the Tao tree until the mystic realm breaks, then there might be some hope. Jean Tiany took another deep breath. Wait a little more. If Fang Ping could not defeat the Tao tree, then he would attack. He must not let the Tao tree succeed. Suppressing the anxiety in his heart, Jean Tiany quickly calmed down. This was not conducive to his next performance. However, he looked at another place from the corner of his eyes. There were a few people standing among the shadows. They seemed to be watching the battle. Jean Tiany watched for a while, his eyes flickering. Was this the backup plan left behind in the past? This time, he wondered if he should borrow this person's real body. Jean Tiany thought to himself, if it was just to stop the Tao tree, there was no need to do this. If he still had to borrow it. Trash, beat me to death. Fang Ping provoked. His emperor armor was already dented in many places. However, Fang Ping was still as strong as ever. He slashed his saber out of the blue, splitting it left and right simultaneously, chopping off many of the Tao tree's roots. "I'll wait for this place to shatter, and see how arrogant you can be." Fang Ping continued to provoking, "What's so great about breaking 9? What can a broken 9 do to me? If you can't beat me to death, don't even think about snatching the seed. Prove your Tao. Prove your Tao." So, what if you're a celestial emperor? Just because he said so, you have to ask me if I agree or not. Humph. A cold snort sounded. The Tao tree was infuriated. Fang Ping's physique was strong to begin with. In addition to the integration of the Peak Break 8 physique powerhouse, the underworld god, as well as emperor armor, his physique was not weaker than his. His vitality was also extremely strong. Under such circumstances, even if his strength was not unified, it would be difficult for him to break through Fang Ping's defense in a short time. The void was trembling, and this place seemed to have become even more illusory. The Tao tree was anxious. It was about to shatter. Now, those emperors didn't come in with their true bodies. That was because they didn't want the seeds of hope to shatter and escape. But if this continued, the seed would wake up and escape by itself. If the mystic realm was destroyed, how could he have a chance to prove his Tao? Damn it! The Tao tree was getting more and more anxious. In the next moment, a small white jade-like tree appeared. It was not big, only the height of a person. On the white jade-like tree trunk, it was like a human, with 2 limbs on top and 2 on top. The Tao tree that revealed its true body was even stronger. It did not use those roots to attack Fang Ping anymore. It could not do anything to Fang Ping at all. At this moment, the 2 branches on the Tao tree's trunk that were like arms were shaped like divine weapons, madly attacking Fang Ping. This time, Fong Ping felt tremendous pressure. Uft! This time, the Dao tree's branches penetrated the emperor armor directly, piercing the underworld god's skull in front of him. The underworld god let out a muffled groan. Fong Ping hurriedly retreated. It was not time yet. The Dao tree's branches extended, but there was still quite a distance between them. For powerhouses, this distance was nothing. But for Fong Ping, he had to ensure that the Dao tree could not escape. If he did not kill the Dao tree, how could he kill the others? How could he vent his anger? The battle between the two seemed to be exchanging a lot of blows, but in fact, it was extremely fast. At this moment, it was less than 30 seconds since Fong Ping and the Dao tree started fighting. Although Fong Ping was injured by the Dao tree, he became even more arrogant. At most 3 minutes, this place will be destroyed. I'd like to see if you can defeat me in 3 minutes. Dao tree, kneel down and call me your ancestor. I'll split the seeds with you. Humiliation. Extreme humiliation. For someone who had broken through to the 9th level, such words were extremely humiliating. Even a sovereign would not speak to a broken 9 in such a tone. Both of them were on the same level. Fong Ping, you're asking for it. An angry roar shook the surroundings. The Dao tree was really going crazy. Fong Ping, this bastard, insisted on causing trouble. Otherwise, the Dao tree would have succeeded in proving its Dao by now. Kill. The Dao tree closed in once again. The closer it got, the less power spilled out, and the greater the lethality. To deal with a physique powerhouse like Fong Ping, the only way was to destroy his flesh at close range, so that he could no longer recover. The Dao tree was also a physique powerhouse. The demon clan, whether it was a monster beast or a monster plant, had an extremely strong physique, not to mention the Dao tree, whose trunk was made of jade bones. This kind of jade body powerhouse was even more terrifying than other jade body powerhouses. Puchi, the Dao tree's arms attacked again, piercing through Fong Ping's arms. Even Emperor armor could not block it. Fong Ping was also controlling his saber, slashing with all his might. However, 3 consecutive slashes did not even touch a hair on the Dao tree. Humph! The Dao tree let out a cold humph. Fong Ping was still too inexperienced. Although his strength was strong, he was still trash. How could it hurt him just like that? Dream on. F***CK. Fong Ping cursed and stuffed the scythe of the underworld god into the underworld god's mouth. This scythe is useless. Continue to focus on defense. The underworld god didn't waste any time and quickly fused the scythe into the larch armor to increase its defensive power. Fong Ping, on the other hand, wielded his chaos vanquishing saber with both hands. His movements were slightly more agile. Bang! With a loud bang, the chaos vanquishing saber finally cut through one of the Dao tree's arms. Splat! White-colored blood, or tree sap, flowed out. The cracks quickly healed. The Dao tree, on the other hand, was a little mad. This blade was sharper than he had imagined. It actually cut through his jade body. Not only that, but at this moment, even the great Dao was somewhat damaged. Fong Ping's saber did not just hurt the flesh. At this moment, on the other side, the celestial emperor growled. This is the origin saber. It cuts through all Daos and breaks all defenses. It is transformed from the 9 emperor seals. Beheading the body also cuts the Dao. Be careful. As soon as these words came out, the Dao tree's heart froze. Beheading the body also cuts the Dao. This also meant that if his flesh was cut, his great Dao would also collapse. It turned out to be a saber transformed from the 9 emperor seals. No wonder it was so strong. No matter how good a weapon is, it still depends on the master. The Dao tree let out a cold roar. The saber was a good saber, but Fang Ping did not really break 9. Grandson, I will smash your flesh with one slash. Even your father, the celestial emperor, can't save you. Fang Ping also cursed angrily. Try me. The Tao tree let out a cold roar and closed in again. Fang Ping's Changdao was very long. The closer it was, the safer it was. The moment Fang Ping pulled out the saber and slashed back, he could defeat Fang Ping and avoid the slash. Rumble! Their bodies began to come into contact. Both of them had extremely powerful bodies. However, Fang Ping was slightly inferior to the Tao tree. This guy was one with mixed elements. Monster plants did not have bones and flesh. The Tao tree's trunk was jade-like, which meant that he had completed jade-like, compared to Fang Ping. Fang Ping's flesh had not completely turned into jade-like. Bang, bang, bang. After a series of collisions, Fang Ping actually suffered quite a bit. Inside, Ironhead screamed again, and Old Zhang was also groaning. In the source world, a path that was not long was burning rapidly at this moment. However, this time, the burning did not overflow in the slightest. All the burning energy was imprisoned by Fang Ping. Not only was the Great Tao burning, but countless origin energy was synthesized by Fang Ping using the system and then thrown into it, continuing to increase the fire. Rumble! The source world seemed like it was about to be burned through. The 4 plump children quickly flew up and built a wall of water near the burning road. If Fang Ping did not unleash it soon, this force would burn through his source world. However, Fang Ping was still waiting. This time, he was going all out. It was the power of this one attack. The 5-minute 9 breakthrough outburst was condensed into the power of one slash. Because the Tao tree was really strong, Fang Ping was afraid that he would not be able to kill him with one slash, and he would turn the tables. I don't believe I can't kill you. If he did not have the chaos vanquishing saber, Fang Ping would not dare to go all out and fuse a slash. After all, Great Tao, flesh, and mentality had to be destroyed. However, with the chaos vanquishing saber, that one slash was enough. In the source world, the Great Tao was still burning. From the previous 200 meters, it was only a few dozen meters left in the blink of an eye. In the virtual sky world, Fang Ping and the Tao tree's flesh collided and exchanged blows. The Tao tree's jade body cracked a little, but Fang Ping was in an extremely sorry state. The sound of bones breaking could be heard. At this moment, the underworld god was also anxious and angry. Stop fighting and defend. Defend with all your might and waste time. Was Fang Ping crazy? At this moment, he was still fighting with the Tao tree, exhausting each other and entangling together. At this time, Fang Ping should retreat and defend. As expected, he was still too young. Young, inexperienced, and prideful. He was hot-blooded and did not want to defend all the time. The underworld god could understand this feeling, but now he was fighting with his life on the line. If he was not careful, he would die. Fang Ping should not be stubborn. There are only human kings who die in battle, no human kings who retreat. Fang Ping shouted angrily, "If I die, I will send you away. What are you afraid of?" Fang Ping was afraid that the underworld god would ruin things. Without giving him time to think, he quickly entangled with the Tao tree. At this moment, Old Zhang's voice sounded in his ear. "Do you need me to sever your Tao?" "No need." Fang Ping responded in his heart. He did not need Old Zhang. It was not at this point yet on Old Zhang's side. Unless the real body of a sovereign came. Otherwise, why would he sever his Tao? It would be a waste of his life. Surrounded by Tengu and the others, Celestial Emperor vaguely felt that something was wrong. However, it was a projection after all. He could not see anything for a while. In addition, Tengu and the others were shouting. Celestial Emperor frowned slightly. After watching for a while, he did not see anything and did not disturb the Tao tree again. Where the heavenly court was, the real and fake God Emperors were really fighting. The fake God Emperor was not weak, but Qiong was not easy to deal with either. Even if it was a clone, it was extremely powerful, suppressing the fake God Emperor and forcing him to retreat. "It's you," Qiong growled. The fake God Emperor sneered. "It's me, Celestial Emperor's second projection." Qiong was a little speechless. "At this time, do you still think you can hide it from me? I can't be bothered to hide it from you. Even the God Emperor wanted to kill him. Why was this guy like this now? I can even recognize you. You're actually lying through your teeth. Guard, why do you care if it's true or false?" The fake God Emperor interrupted him. Who was the guard? He did not know. As he pestered the God Emperor, he said in a low voice, "Tell me, will your real body come? If you come, will the sovereigns near the other two gates come?" The God Emperor's expression did not change. The responsibility of guarding the gate is more important than anything else. The fake God Emperor sneered. "I don't believe you. Just wait. I guessed you would come. If you come, the 3 gates will be unguarded. Are you trying to create an opportunity for the Tao tree? Go to hell. I might be able to get a big bargain this time." The God Emperor's expression changed slightly. "You want to prove your Tao now? Secretly prove your Tao. Are you convinced? Damn you, just you wait. When the 3 sovereigns guarding the gates come, I will go and secretly prove my Tao. However, the prerequisite is that I get rid of you here." The fake God Emperor did not hide anymore. The reason why he could not prove his Tao after breaking through 9 was not only because he was not strong enough, but also because the 3 gates were guarded by powerhouses, proving his Tao breaking through the gates. If the 3 sovereigns stopped him, how could he break through the gates? If the Tao tree wanted to become insovereign, not only did it need a seed, but it also needed the previous sovereigns of the 3 gates not to stop it, with the God Emperor guarding. Even if the other 2 sovereigns were not transferred away, the Tao tree still had hope if the God Emperor was willing to help. But if he was transferred away, it would be even better. It would be more secretive, and the chances would be greater. The God Emperor's expression changed again. "I'm afraid you won't have that chance. That might not be the case." The fake God Emperor growled and erupted again. He was extremely powerful, and for a moment the God Emperor kept retreating. As expected, it has broken through 9. It seems like the last gate was broken here. The God Emperor snorted. He was sure that Heavenly King Subduing had not broken through 9 before. It should be here. Just like the Tao tree, it had silently crossed the 3rd gate and reached the end. This was the origin body. The Heavenly King Subduing, fighting with the Spirit Emperor, should be a beginner martial body. Otherwise, how could he have the strength to break through 8? And at the peak, "You are bold, aren't you? Aren't you afraid of being killed in front of the true gate?" "Bold, my ass!" Heavenly King Subduing scolded. "I was planning to wait for the Tao tree to break through and follow behind to take advantage of it. Now, it seems that it's hard to say. I don't have to continue following. Wait and see. Fong Ping killed the Tao tree. I'll kill you too. Wait and see. I'll let you do all the work for me." How can Fong Ping kill? The God Emperor had just said this when his expression suddenly changed, and he looked over hurriedly. At this moment, not only him, but the powerhouses in all directions felt something unusual. 3 realms. In the projection, Fong Ping, who had been suppressed, suddenly had a long saber appear above his head, piercing through heaven and earth. This was not a saber, but saber aura. In the 3 realms, all the martial artists who used sabers had their sabers vibrating at this moment. Buzz, The 9 heavens were shaking. The origin body was shaking. The 9 heavens were shaking. Heavenly King Jean checkpoint. Heavenly King Jean's expression froze, a little incredulous. How did Fong Ping do it? Outside the mystic realm. Rumble. A void shattered, and the God Emperor appeared outside instantly, his expression changing drastically. At the same time, the void shattered in other places, and powerhouses appeared one after another. Sky Grave Continent, Fist God, and the rest suddenly fell silent, holding back their auras, keeping a low profile. Low profile, low profile. Although they wanted to scream, it seemed like something big was going to happen in the 3 realms. The Emperor's aura was overflowing, and the sky grave was shaking. It was not one emperor losing control, but many emperors were at the boundary point not far away from them. At this moment, they could not control their auras, and their auras were overflowing, shaking the 3 realms. At this moment, the Tao tree also felt an unprecedented crisis. Impossible, when Fong Ping's body overflowed with a powerful saber aura that was even comparable to a true emperor's aura. The Tao tree was suddenly terrified. How was this possible? Fong Ping had already broken through 9. At this moment, he could actually erupt again. How was this possible? Fong Ping's aura erupted to the peak, his mentality locked firmly on him. Holding the saber with both hands, the face under the emperor armor was revealed, as cold as frost. I'll send you on your way. In the 3 realms, who dares to bully the humans? Destroy. A roar echoed throughout the 3 realms. The long saber slashed through the sky with a rumble, falling toward the Tao tree. The emperor armor collapsed. Old Zhang and Ironhead flew out, their flesh disappearing, their bones broken. The underworld god was also vomiting blood, sent flying by Fong Ping, its energy exhausted, falling from the sky directly, extremely shocked. Fong Ping still had a hidden card. This saber shook the 3 realms. Rumble! Before the saber landed, heaven and earth turned dark instantly. At this moment, even the seed projection was trembling as if it was completely awakened. And in the 3 realms at this moment, above the sky grave, a huge crack also appeared. The sky was broken. The immortal source was dimming. The saber shadow covered the sky, blocking the light of the immortal source. Above the immortal source, an extremely thick blood vessel was cracking. The few emperors guarding the immortal source, one after another, changed expressions. The huge blood vessel was extremely thick, even vaguely penetrating the immortal source that was like a heart. At this moment, it was shattering, cracking. The Tao tree was in trouble. Before the saber landed, the Tao actually began to collapse. The saber aura had already hurt the Tao tree's origin. Impossible. The Tao tree roared. Rumble! An incomparably huge tree appeared in the void. At this moment, countless jade-like leaves withered and fell. On the tree trunk, there were cracks. White juice began to spray out, sprinkled into the void. At this moment, in the entire virtual sky realm, endless vitality overflowed, coming from the Tao tree. The Tao tree was too strong. It had absorbed too much vitality, forged a jade body, broke through the 9 heavens, and was one step away from breaking through the true gate and becoming an emperor. Below, the cat looked dazed. So much emperor juice. But it was all spilled. It seemed like he could only wrap it up and take it away when he packed it up in the virtual sky realm. He did not know if he could find a complete one in the human world. Impossible. The Tao tree was still roaring. How could it be? I broke through the 9 heavens. Today is the day I become an emperor. How could I die here? Impossible. In its senses, there was no one else, only a saber, only Fong Ping's chilling sneer. I, Fong Ping, am the possibility. A harsh laugh transmitted into the Tao tree's mind. No, you can't kill me. The Tao tree roared, you can't kill me. Block this saber, block it. As long as he blocked it, the one who died would be Fong Ping, not him. Yes, shatter the mystic realm. Shatter the mystic realm. Master will save him. He will. Rumble. The Tao tree's trunk was self-destructing, not all of it, but the tens of thousands of meters tall Tao tree. At this time, self-destructed only a small section. Even if he did not become an emperor today, he was not willing to die like this. He had too much unwillingness. He had too many lofty aspirations and lofty aspirations. After waiting for tens of thousands of years, he was about to succeed. He even reached an agreement with Celestial Emperor, persuaded Master, and solved the problem of several Emperor avatars. Now he was only one step away. Emperor close at hand. Unwillingness. He did not want to die. Fong Ping. I won't die. The Tao tree roared wildly. Rumble. A loud noise sounded again, and the entire mystic realm was shaking violently. Below, the cat hurriedly began to sweep the entire virtual sky realm, also roaring, "Everyone make way, it's going to break. Hurry up, this cat is going to take this place away." No one paid attention to the cat. Celestial Emperor's expression changed. He wanted to go over, but he was blocked by Tengu and the others. The God Emperor's expression changed, but the fake God Emperor took the opportunity to punch half of his body. Dong Huang and Spirit Emperor were solemn, but they did not want to go over. It was a little far, but the key was that giving the seed to the Tao tree was not their intention. Slash. Just as the Tao tree self-destructed, Fong Ping's saber finally fell. Fong Ping sneered. "You're asking for it. The Tao tree might not die if it went all out. The Tao tree, on the other hand, hoped that the people outside would save it, self-destructing most of its body, and its strength was severely depleted. What was it thinking? Anyway, Fong Ping would never pin his hopes on outsiders. Boom. The saber fell, but there was no dazzling brilliance, only an earth-shattering roar. The rest of the Tao tree's body was slashed into pieces in an instant. Countless jade-like leaves and tree trunk fragments flew everywhere. The Tao tree's spirit body had just condensed when it exploded with a bang, unable to condense. The effect of chaos vanquishing saber. No, Master, save me. The Tao tree was not completely dead. At this moment, between heaven and earth, a hole was torn open, and he could already see a person in a trance. Master, the God Emperor, was outside. Master would save him. He definitely would. His Tao was collapsing, but it was not completely destroyed. He could still be saved. Master, at this moment, outside, the God Emperor also saw a somewhat blurry scene. The Tao tree was slashed into pieces. His spiritual power was dissipating. The origin power, mixed with origin power, was rapidly burning everything, including the formless great Tao. In the three realms, an incomparably huge Tao, like a giant dragon traversing the three realms, was now breaking and shattering. The three realms' turbulence was becoming more and more obvious. This was the first powerhouse who had broken through 9 levels since the founding of martial arts, or rather, the Emperor realm. As for the earthly emperor and the 3 emperors, even if these people fell, there was not much movement. Perhaps it was covered up by the heavenly realm's collapse, or perhaps it was covered up by other powerhouses, or perhaps, as the God Emperor and the others said, it was just nirvana, not a complete fall. The Tao had not yet collapsed, and today, the Tao of the first powerhouse who had broken through 9 levels was rapidly collapsing. The Tao that ran through the 3 realms spread along the way, shattering along the way. At this moment, even the source universe was trembling. A Tao that emitted light was collapsing. A great star that was like a sun, previously hidden, now revealed itself. It shone on the source energy, illuminating the source energy. At this moment, there were also a few huge stars nearby, flashing and quickly disappearing. Those were the source stars of the emperors. They had been hiding before, but now that they felt exposed, they all controlled the huge stars to leave this place. Calling me Grandpa won't save you. At this moment, a cold laugh also sounded in the three realms, Source Universe, and the ninth heaven. I finally killed an emperor. My death was worth it. Wild laughter shook the world. With a rumble, the sky broke, and blood poured down like paste. The three realms was dyed red. This was hell. Chapter 1377. Kaboom! Blood rained down. Fang Ping's aura dropped. In the blink of an eye, it had fallen to Broken 8 and was still falling. At Broken 7, he managed to hold on. As for Fang Ping, bathed in the tree's white blood, his broken flesh was healing rapidly. Not only that, after killing the tree with one slash, Fang Ping grabbed a white, ball-like object in his hand. He did not have to look. It was good stuff. The moment he grabbed it, endless vitality surged into Fang Ping's body, healing his broken bones and growing his flesh. He did not know if it was a demon core or a fruit of the tree. Fang Ping did not care. He had no time to care. At this moment, the tree was not dead yet. His Tao was broken. His flesh was destroyed. His mentality was destroyed. The planet was broken. There was no way the tree could survive. But he still had his obsession. He could not accept it. He could not believe it. Fang Ping. In the void, the tree's voice was full of hatred and unwillingness. It laughed mournfully. I'm dead. You killed me. I can't accept it. I can't accept it. For tens of thousands of years, I have been trying to escape this cage. I'm only one step away. Fang Ping, you have destroyed all my hopes. Ha ha ha. You all have to die. Sooner or later, you will all die. Do you think you can live longer than me? No. The day the celestial barrier breaks will be the day you die. It's almost time. I will wait for you. The tree's resentful voice continued. At this moment, he knew he was dead. So unwilling, so hateful. Not only did he hate Fang Ping, but he also hated the other emperors. Master, do you think I don't know what you are planning? Ha ha ha, you have failed. Beast Emperor, Master has wanted to kill you for a long time. He asked me to become the Emperor of Monster Plants, kill you, assimilate your beast heart, and become the Demon Emperor. I am not his substitute. Ha ha ha, you are wrong. He doesn't even want to kill me now, because I am his consummate Tao. Ha ha. Beast Emperor, do you think he saved the dragon transformation because he was kind? That was because the dragon transformation contained the power of your blood essence. Idiot! Earthly Sovereign is an idiot. He suspects that Master is related to Emperor of Heaven Reverse. He is wrong. Master and Emperor of Heaven are in cahoots. The voice stopped abruptly. On the other side, the celestial arch forcefully broke through the blockade of Tengu and the others. Energy erupted, and with a rumble, everything exploded. The Tao tree had completely perished. All was silent. However, the words of the Tao tree caused everyone's emotions to fluctuate. The God Emperor wanted to slay the Beast Emperor and complete his great Tao. The Tao tree was not his substitute. The substitute was someone else, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse, and the Emperor of Heaven were not on the same side. It was the Emperor of Heaven, and the Emperor of Heaven. Of course, the Tao tree's words couldn't be trusted. However, he was on the verge of death, so the Tao tree probably wouldn't lie. He hated the Celestial Emperor and hated the God Emperor. So he must have discovered something. That was why he said all of this at this time. The Celestial Emperor's sudden breakout and destruction of the Tao tree was also proof. Of course, it was also possible that he was trying to hide something. At this moment, however, no one was in the mood to think about this. All of them looked at Fang Ping. They looked at this person, the first person to kill someone who had broken through to the 9th level since the beginning of the martial path. Yes, experts. Even the emperor had to admit that Fang Ping was a powerhouse, one of the top powerhouses in the 3 realms. Fang Ping's qi was recovering slowly. He had recovered to the 8th level. He had burned his Tao. Without his Tao, this was his standard, a base of 25 million calories, plus a 15% increase in combat techniques. This was Fang Ping's current strength, close to the 2nd level. His injuries had recovered. That attack had exceeded Fang Ping's limit. Initially, he would not be able to recover so quickly. However, as the white ball left by the Tao tree fell into his hands, Fang Ping's injuries recovered rapidly. At this moment, Fang Ping only had this strength. However, Fang Ping was still so arrogant, so savage. His eyes were like the sun sweeping across the surroundings. Even the emperor's avatar felt a little nervous when his gaze swept across it. An invincible powerhouse who had just killed someone who had broken through to the 9th level. On the other side, Zhang Tao and the others rushed over. They were covered in blood, but all of them were extremely excited. Bathed in the Tao tree's blood, these people's injuries were also recovering rapidly. Below, a cat was so anxious that it was about to stomp its feet. It hurriedly began to pack up. Its mentality swept across the surroundings, as if it was folding up a painting. The virtual heavenly world was directly sucked into the painting. Make way, make way. The cat was so anxious that its face was dripping with sweat. Make way quickly, or else they'll all be sucked away. It's the emperor's beverage. Don't snatch it. The broken pieces of the Tao tree were all swept up by it. The cat rolled up the painting. Wherever it passed, a black hole would appear. Make way. It swept to the feet of Dong Huang and Hong Kuan. Seeing them blocking the way, the cat was so angry that it wanted to stomp its feet. It sucked so much delicious food and drinks from this cat. Damn it! Hong Kuan and the others glanced at the cat. Seeing that the cat had already swept through half of the celestial realm, Hong Kuan suddenly laughed, leaping into the air and avoiding the cat. Give it to you. If you want to sweep, then take it away. At this moment, Fang Ping's power was too strong. He had cut down the Tao tree. These were his spoils of war. If he did not give them now, if Fang Ping did not die this time, these spoils of war, whoever took them would have to spit them out. They might even have to spit out their lives. Everyone did not say anything. The cat was just working for Fang Ping. If the cat wanted to take it, then let it be. Although everyone coveted the Tao tree's branches, sap, and trunk fragments, no one would become Fang Ping's enemy at this time. Broken 8? Yes, it was Broken 8 now, but who could guarantee that Fang Ping was not pretending like before? They could not believe that Fang Ping did not have a trump card anymore. "Oh, Dong Huang, lift your foot." The cat roared. It was so angry. It lifted its foot. If it did not lift its foot, this side could not be taken away. Dong Huang laughed inexplicably. He did not argue with the cat. Dong Huang floated slowly, letting the cat take away the sky void realm under his feet. The cat continued sweeping. Wherever it went, it would take away a place. It walked past mountains and rivers, the world under the feet of Spirit Emperor and suppressing Heavenly King was gone. The world under the feet of Emperor West and the beginner martial artist was gone. The world under the feet of Celestial Emperor and Heavenly Dog was gone. Until it reached the real and fake God Emperors, the two of them were fighting fiercely. No matter how much the cat roared, it was useless. In a fit of anger, the cat did not want it anymore. It swept everything around, leaving only a gatehouse for the two of them. The rest was swept away. In the blink of an eye, the entire sky void realm disappeared. Only the giant silkworm baby in the air seemed to be rolling, and the small gatehouse under the feet of the two god emperors was left. It was dark all around. No, there was still some light. It came from the 13th stage. At this moment, the final stage was broken. The light orbs around appeared. The stage where Celestial Emperor was fighting was still slightly bright. The other stages were also dimmed. 13 light orbs surrounded the silkworm baby in the air. The prosperity and prosperity from before had all disappeared, returning to reality. Everything was quiet above the silkworm baby. In the air, a small black hole was healing. At the black hole, a few figures emerged. The aura was not obvious, but it shook heaven and earth. Even Fong Ping and the others felt the unparalleled aura. Emperor's true form. A glaring golden light shot from the hole. It was the gaze of an emperor piercing through the world and looking at Fong Ping. Fong Ping held the chaos-vanquishing saber in his hand, chuckling. God Emperor? Fong Ping seemed to be a little overwhelmed. Zhang Tao hurried forward to support him. Fong Ping's Chang Dao slashed the golden light, panting. Come in, I'll send you to accompany your disciple on his way. It shook everywhere. Everyone's hearts were palpitating. Fong Ping was really crazy. After slaying the Tao tree, he was crazy enough to fight the God Emperor's true form. The Tao tree was not as good as the 9 Emperors' true form. Among the 9 emperors, the God Emperor was the strongest. Emperors were also divided into levels. It could be said that the gap between the Tao tree and the God Emperor was huge. If the Tao tree fought with the weakest Spirit Emperor, it would most likely lose, but it could hold on for a while. If the Spirit Emperor fought with Emperor West and the others, they would also lose, but they could not kill the Spirit Emperor. Emperor West and the others were no match for the Earthly Emperor and the others. The Earthly Emperor and the others were no match for the God Emperor and the others. This was the level. This was the gap between the emperors. Now, Fong Ping was provoking the God Emperor. The God Emperor said nothing. The next moment, a voice that seemed to come from the 9 heavens resounded in the world. The seed has not awakened. This place is not completely destroyed. Fong Ping, since you can kill the Tao tree, why not try to collect the seed? The voice sounded familiar. Fong Ping was shocked. Celestial Emperor. Yes, he had heard Celestial Emperor's voice before. The arcane realm is not stable. Brother Sky, it is not easy for the seed to appear. Don't go in and destroy the seed. Celestial, are you going to stop me? That's not it. Emperor of Heaven, Reverse's voice could be faintly heard. It is not too late to snatch it after they collect the seed. If we do it now, the mysterious realm will be destroyed and the opportunity will be wasted. There are not many chances left in the 3 universes. Brother Cheung, why are you so angry? That's right, Brother Cheung, calm down. Another unfamiliar laughter sounded. No, it wasn't unfamiliar at all. This time, Fong Ping had come into contact with the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, so he was not unfamiliar with their voices. The voice of the projection and the real body was the same. It was the Beast Emperor. The voice came from beyond the 9 heavens. The world point connected the 9 heavens, the 3 realms, and the source world. At this moment, they were all in the same space. Brother Cheung, it's only a piece of rotten wood that died. Why get angry? Let's give everyone in the 3 realms a chance. Beast Emperor's voice was filled with mockery and anger. That's right, Brother Cheung Dao. We don't have many chances left. If the Tao tree dies, then so be it. We can't awaken the seed projection. We're hoping that the projection will find the true seed. Another person spoke up. North Emperor. Fong Ping recognized the voice. The Emperor of Heaven Reverse, the Beast King, and King of the North spoke one after another. The outside world quieted down. Fong Ping laughed. He laughed so hard that he rocked back and forth. Trash. The first emperor? Ha ha ha. What a joke. No one is helping you. Ha ha ha. Fong Ping's laughter was arrogant, arrogant. The next moment, he looked at the beginner powerhouses and bared his teeth. Everyone, are you going to fuse or not? Today, I'll bring you to slay the emperor for fun. As for old Zhang, forget it. He did not want to kill old Zhang. The beginner powerhouses looked at each other. After a while, Sky Arm looked at Emperor West. Emperor West laughed too. Amazing! Beyond my expectations. You killed the Tao tree. I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. This person's purpose this time was unknown. Before this, he had been doing nothing. At this moment, not knowing if he was afraid of Fong Ping or something else, he laughed. It's getting more and more interesting. I'm afraid this clone of mine can't get out. Those fellows outside, it's rare to encounter such an opportunity. They won't let us get out. Emperor West sighed. Very quickly, he laughed again. But if we join forces with the God Emperor and the others, we can still get out. But I don't want to get out anymore. Useless thing. As he said that, he scolded. He covered the sky with one hand and lifted up a piece of land in the void. The only small soil mound. It was unknown if the cat wanted to take care of Celestial Pole. It took away everything around Celestial Pole except for that small piece of land. Celestial Pole was still hiding in the soil. However, at this time, there was only a small soil mound on his side. It was particularly eye-catching and funny. Emperor West's big hand grabbed Celestial Pole in his hand. In the next moment, Emperor West's clone gradually collapsed. Endless energy surged into Celestial Pole's body. Celestial Pole scolded. I don't want it. Let go. It's not up to you. Chaos is coming. What's the use of breaking 6? If you're afraid of death, then don't cultivate. Originally, I wanted to seize the seed for you. Now, it seems that it's not your turn. My clone can't get out. If that's the case, instead of being killed, it's better to let you have it easy. Emperor West snorted coldly. A large amount of energy, flesh, and vitality surged into Celestial Pole's body. I severed my limbs to forge this clone. My strength is greatly reduced. This time, I may not be able to escape this calamity. You're slightly stronger. The rest is up to you. Celestial Pole's physique kept colliding. An emperor had severed his limbs, greatly reducing his strength. He had used countless treasures to forge a broken 9 clone. At this moment, they were all integrated into Celestial Pole's body. The father and son were connected by blood. Celestial Pole's Tao advanced rapidly. In the past, Unquestionable Sword could split Gong Yuzi's Tao in one slash, let alone Emperor West. Rumble! His flesh was transforming. His vitality was becoming stronger. His Tao was advancing. With a rumble, the aura of breaking 7. Celestial Pole had broken 7. However, Celestial Pole's face was ashen. He screamed mournfully, "You OB***starred. You're killing me. Fong Ping, don't kill me. My Tao is not stable." Emperor West ignored him and continued to channel energy into him. Celestial Pole's aura was still strengthening and stabilizing. As for Emperor West, his figure began to become transparent. He looked at Fong Ping and smiled. "My real body will help you buy some time. Leave this place as soon as possible. The Emperor will not let you go this time. I'll leave my son to you. The day the heavenly human realm wall shatters might be the day we meet again. I hope that you can give me some surprises on that day." 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors. 3 emperors had dissipated. The earthly sovereign had disappeared. The remaining people were still here. Besides, the Tao tree has fallen here. The Tao of origin has suffered heavy losses. There might be changes to the Tao of origin. the emperor and Do might take the opportunity to escape the confinement of the land of origin. Be careful, I have faith in you. Ha ha ha. Rumble. With a loud bang, Emperor West's clone collapsed. In the outside world, a soft snort was heard. In the void, Emperor West's limbs suddenly exploded. Then, they reformed again. However, they were not as strong as before. In the darkness, Celestial Pole cursed. At this moment, his strength had transformed. His vitality had exceeded 10 million cal. Although he had not broken 8, he was close to Moon Spirit's level. However, Celestial Pole could not be happy. Breaking 6 was nothing. Breaking 7 was dangerous. As a bystander, he saw clearly that Fong Ping had burned his Dao and unleashed that invincible saber. So many Dao, where did they come from? They were taken by killing. Previously, he killed Yuan Gang, and then kept his eyes on King General. Would he target him now? How terrifying. Father was too much of a scammer. Breaking 7 was useless. It was better for your clone to protect me when I left. Why did you have to fuse into my body? It was too much of a scammer. Emperor West fused with his clone and helped Celestial Pole. It was unexpected. Deep father-son bond. Fong Ping did not believe this. He was thinking, was Emperor West's chess piece Celestial Pole? In the end, Celestial Pole was unreliable. He did not cultivate at all. After 10,000 years, he was still breaking 6. Was Emperor West impatient? Was that why this time he used this method to forcefully raise Celestial Pole to breaking 7? It was hard to say. Of course, it might be because of the deep father-son bond. Fong Ping could not be bothered with this. Emperor West's clone was dead. The Emperor's clone was gone. The Dao tree was killed. At this moment, there were only Spirit Emperor, East Emperor, Celestial Emperor, and Divine Emperor left. Divine Emperor was entangled by Heavenly King, subduing. On East Emperor's side, Hong Yu and the others did not break their promise and continued to entangle him. On Celestial Emperor's side, Tengu and the others attacked again, surrounding Celestial Emperor. On the side of the martial artists, there were no opponents. On Heavenly King's subduing side, Spirit Emperor looked over without saying a word. No one knew what he was thinking. Skyarm and the others looked at the underworld god, then at the seed in the sky. Their eyes flickered, slightly anxious. Fong Ping's strength had weakened. He did not have the combat strength to break 9 anymore. The underworld god had absorbed some of the Dao tree's life essence and recovered most of his injuries. If they joined forces, Fong Ping would not be a match for them. The best time to seize the seed. At this moment, no one would stop them. The underworld god had hope. There was a chance. The underworld god said nothing. Suddenly, he looked at the outer circle of light. That was the previous 13 gates. Vaguely, he seemed to see a person. Heavenly King Zhan. Heavenly King Zhan had not appeared yet. What was he waiting for? The underworld god did not know. The underworld god looked at Fong Ping again. He had broken 8 gates and had just broken 2 gates. He had not even reached this point. He could fight him alone. However, the trembling of that slash was still in his mind. Seed, Fong Ping, Heavenly King Zhan, many emperors from the outside world. One by one, names fluctuated in his mind. An opportunity, but also a crisis. A fatal crisis. The 3 realms' most ruthless person. Yes, he was talking about Fong Ping. The real 3 realms' most ruthless person. The moment he merged with Fong Ping, he felt the brilliance and power of the last slash, the result of breaking a heavenly king's path. He looked at Zhang Tao next to him, who was supporting Fong Ping. He had a smile on his face, so calm. At this moment, he understood. He understood. The underworld god smiled. Fang Ping was waiting for the next person to stand out. Zhang Tao was waiting for the next powerhouse and enemy who was worthy of him breaking his path. Beginner, looking at Sky Arm, looking at Huan, looking at those beginner powerhouses, so eager. But did they know that this was a trap? The future of beginner martial was today, right now. If I took a wrong step, I would be doomed eternally. If all the beginner martial here were killed, there would only be a few heavenly kings trapped in the sky cemetery left. These few would not be able to escape Fang Ping's killing. Beginner martial had lasted for 40,000 years and had not been destroyed until now. The emperors of Origins did not destroy beginner martial. The heavenly kings of Origins did not destroy beginner martial because they were afraid, scheming, and unwilling to destroy beginner martial. But why would this lunatic Fang Ping be afraid? The underworld god already knew and understood everything. He smiled sadly in his heart. There was no chance. He had integrated Zhang Tao's path and caused Zhang Tao's death. If Fang Ping did not kill all the beginner martial, he, the underworld god, could even kill himself here. Zhang Tao was Fang Ping's mentor, friend, and father. He caused Zhang Tao's death. Unless Fang Ping died, otherwise beginner martial could not bear such responsibility and risk. In the next moment, the underworld god made a decision. He growled, "Dispel Huan. The rest, combine." As soon as he said that, everyone's hearts trembled. The beginner martial side was also shocked. The underworld god, Fang Ping, was already powerless. Listen to the order. The underworld god's voice was sharp. He roared, his anger soaring. In the next moment, Sky Arm and the others roared one after another. "Follow the order." Ha ha ha. Fang Ping laughed loudly. In the next moment, his vitality erupted. In front of him, the beginner powerhouses fused into his body like liquid. Rumble! His aura grew stronger and stronger as Sky Arm and the underworld god took the initiative to fuse. Fang Ping at this moment was even more powerful than when he had his path. Rumble! Vitality rushed to the sky, breaking 9. It was not as powerful as when he burned his path, but it was still breaking 9. With his path burning, he only had the strength of close to 2 doors. At this moment, after fusing with the beginner powerhouses, he broke 9 again. Celestial Emperor, I'm coming. Fang Ping laughed. His laugh was gloomy. In his hand, the Changdao glowed with gray light. The Celestial Emperor slapped the heavenly hound away with a palm and said calmly, "I'm just a projection. Even if I don't die now, I'll die when the mystic realm shatters. There's no difference. No, I'm going to kill you with my own hands." Fang Ping roared. With a rumble, he broke through the void and attacked in an instant. "Go, help the fake god emperor and kill Qiong." Fang Ping roared and chased away the god creation envoys. Qiong. On the other side, the battle between the heavenly king and Qiong did not stop even with the fall of the Tao tree. From this point alone, Fang Ping understood that the heavenly king wanted to kill Qiong. As for the reason, he was too lazy to guess. However, there must be a reason why the heavenly king wanted to kill him. If that was the case, of course, he had to kill him. This time, Fang Ping wanted to keep these emperors here. Kill. Common people. Extermination. Macmao. Longevity. Slash after slash. This time, Fang Ping did not hold back and killed the Celestial Emperor. There was no nonsense. He was too lazy to ask anymore. It was just a projection. It was useless to ask, and it would only waste time. Moreover, there were emperors in the outside world at this moment. Fang Ping was worried that if he did not kill these people, he would be attacked from all sides. He might not have a chance to escape later. Perhaps today would be his doomsday. However, who cared? If I die, Don't think you'll have an easy time. I'll let you plot against the humans. I'll let you lead the seeds. Fang Ping slashed again and again, each slash faster and more ruthless than the last. The Celestial Emperor also kept fighting back, but he was still suppressed by Fang Ping. After all, he was just a projection. He still lacked some courage and fighting spirit. As for Fang Ping, at this moment, he put all his anger, all his despair, all his resentment on the Celestial Emperor. Whether he vented his anger or resented him, the creation of the Origin Tao was a good thing. However, the Celestial Emperor left behind a huge problem and let the future generations bear everything. All the powerhouses of the Origin Tao were bearing all of this. All the schemes stemmed from the flaws of the Origin Tao. Whether Celestial Emperor did it intentionally or unintentionally, making up for it later, or scheming, Fang Ping did not want to ask or care. He only knew that the flaws of the Origin Tao were still there. The Three Realms was still like an ant being schemed against by everyone and could be destroyed at any time. This was the Celestial Emperor's fault. He could not escape it no matter what. The Origin has flaws. Why not make up for it? If it can't be made up for, then kill yourself and cut off the Origin Tao. Why let the Three Realms continue to cultivate the Origin? In order to satisfy your selfishness, in order to keep the Origin, in order to not lose your strength, you chose to cultivate generations of Origin martial artists to become your meat shields to make up for your flaws. Justice cannot be tolerated. Your evil intentions must be punished. If you don't die, chaos will not stop. The Three Realms will be peaceful. All of you, go and die. Fang Ping shouted, roared, and vented. Go and die. These people were the root cause of the Three Realms' turmoil. They were the root cause of human neo-martial artists, generations of neo-martial artists dying on the battlefield. They were the root cause of having a home that they could not return to, someone they could not love, and a plain life that they could not enjoy. He was tired. In the past 3 years, he had fought countless battles. Every time he was on tenterhooks, every time he advanced recklessly, every time blood was shed, not because he wanted to fight, but because he did not want to fight. Kill, kill until the Three Realms flowed with rivers of blood. Kill, kill until Fang Ping became a devil. Kill, kill until he did not recognize his own family and friends. Go back on their word. I am a devil. What are you guys? Who is the real devil? Celestial Emperor. 9 emperors? The 9 demons were more or less the same. With infinite resentment, hatred, and fury, Fang Ping's Changdao sliced through the air, slashing again and again. Slaying God. Quelling the chaos. His thoughts were clear. Quelling the chaos. How to quell the chaos. Kill the 9 emperors, kill the Celestial Emperor, kill the Sun God, kill everyone who schemed against the common people, break the Origin Tao, or completely fill up the flaws of the Origin. This was the root cause of the Three Realms no longer being in chaos. Slaying God, slaying them, quelling the chaos. It was also them. At this moment, Fang Ping's saber technique became sharper and fiercer. Only kill. Stop killing with killing. Kill. The whole world. The Changdao was incomparably sharp, murderous intent soaring, shaking heaven and earth. God-slaying saber, chaos-vanquishing saber, life sword, slaughtering sword, all the combat techniques, moves, resentment, all turned into one saber. Chaos-vanquishing saber. Killing all those who created chaos would naturally quell the chaos. I'm possessed. At this moment, Heavenly Emperor Zhan seemed to be happy and sad at the same time. Kill. Killing as the law. Killing as the path. Kill. The whole world. Fang Ping, at this moment, actually comprehended his own combat technique. However, he did not know how to express it. Yeah, Big Cat's master is so cool. In the void, Fang Ping's vitality soared, like a demon from hell. However, Second Cat jumped up and cheered. So cool. Slaying God. compared to Heavenly Emperor Zhan's gentleness. Heavenly Emperor destroys coldness. Heavenly Emperor Baishan's foolishness. At this moment, Fang Ping was even colder and more ruthless, his murderous intent shaking the sky. After learning Tao for more than 3 years, until he broke through 9, Fang Ping created his own combat technique. It was not created, but killed. Killed to create a combat technique. Before the saber landed, the murderous intent was already shocking. If it was an ordinary heavenly king before the saber landed, they would have been gutted and had a nervous breakdown. This was Fang Ping's technique. Until today, he killed to create a technique. Quell the chaos. A bone-chilling roar came from afar. Rumble. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Heavenly Emperor revealed a complicated expression. He sighed softly, and without leaving a word, he was slashed into pieces by Fang Ping's saber. His hair grew wildly, his long blood-red hair dancing in the wind. At this moment, the real demon in the world was resurrected. I am not a human king. The scourge of the 3 realms does not die. I am Demon King Fang Ping. It was sonorous and powerful, chilling to the heart. Demon King Fang Ping. The name that had been abandoned in the past, Fang Ping had revived it again. P.S. Promote the new book by the great godly blade, One Gung Big Boss's new book. An ordinary man wields a sword and goes to the River East. Brothers who like it, go and collect it and sign in. Recently, I've healed the great god. What a sense of accomplishment. Chapter 1378. Devil King Fang Ping. Fang Ping had established himself as a devil. He was just like a devil, his vigor soaring to the sky, so much so that it made people feel nauseous. In the past few years, Fang Ping had killed too many people, too many powerhouses. 90% of the powerhouses in the 3 realms had died in Fang Ping's hands. To others, Fang Ping was guilty of all kinds of crimes. Executioner, butcher, devil, this was Fang Ping. However, at this moment, someone could not help but feel sad. Devil. Who would want to be a devil? No one wanted to be a devil, but they were forced to be one. At this moment, Zhang Tao even had the urge to rush out and cut off this emperor's path, so that Fang Ping could kill, to his heart's content. Who cared about his future? Who cared about the human race? Kill to his heart's content. Kill to his heart's content. Live or die. He did not have to think about those annoying trifles anymore. However, the foot that had stepped out could not land. No way. How many could he kill? 8 of the 9 emperors were here. Celestial Emperor Reverse was also here. Celestial Emperor's yang spirit might also be lurking in the dark. How many could Fang Ping kill? What about after Fang Ping died in battle? There were too many concerns, too many worries, too many things that he could not let go. Zhang Tao's eyes were red. It was me who put these shackles on Fang Ping. Otherwise, Fang Ping, who was alone, only needed to protect a few family members. Why did he have to do this? The world was big. He could hide his identity. Where could he not go? At this moment, he still felt a little regretful. Overbearing, unyielding, arrogant, savage, Fang Ping, who had killed Broken 9, was famous forever. But was this what Fang Ping wanted? In the past, the Fang Ping who haggled with him, the Fang Ping who wished that he could write IOUs to him every day, the Fang Ping who haggled over the smallest details, was gone. The Fang Ping who said he would kill anyone who dared to touch his family was also long dead. He could not go home. Fighting outside, killing continuously, again and again, day after day. At this moment, Zhang Tao was really regretful. Humans, this should not have been Fang Ping's responsibility. Now, it had become a shackle that Fang Ping could not untie. Celestial Emperor was killed. Everywhere was shocked. Fang Ping's combat strength did not decrease, but increased instead. The more he fought, the braver he became. His saber hacked at the heavenly emperor without mercy. This was a Tao Father. Even if it was just a projection, it was still a Tao Father, the ancestor of the prime Taos. Even people like the Divine Emperor had to weigh the pros and cons before making a move. Fang Ping, on the other hand, had no qualms. He transformed into a demon and smashed the heavenly emperor's projection into pieces. At this moment, the surroundings were silent. In the next moment, Fang Ping broke through the air and charged toward the spirit emperor. No, right at this moment, a figure moved at an extremely fast speed. His fat body did not seem to be a burden at all. A cat as fat as a pig appeared out of thin air, blocking Fang Ping's way. Third cat was a little afraid. It was afraid of Fang Ping's bloodshot eyes. He was afraid of Fang Ping, who was full of vigor. But the third cat still came and said pitifully, Don't kill master, okay? Fang Ping's eyes were like an abyss. With a glance, the three cats trembled all over, but they still stood in front of Fang Ping, saying pitifully, Master is a good person. Master did not bully you. Master is just a clone. He has been here for many, many years. Yes, many, many years. 10,000 years. 50,000 years. 100,000 years. The three cats could not remember. They only remembered that their master had been here for a very, very long time. One person, one cat, lonely, and dead. In this world that was like a cage, their master, day after day, year after year, had no one to accompany him. There was only one cat. It had been too long. It had been so long that the three cats had almost forgotten everything in the past, but they could not forget the time they spent with the spirit emperor. Fang Ping glanced at the three cats coldly, snorted softly, turned around instantly, and charged toward the divine emperor in the distance. They all had to die. It was just a matter of time. Since the three cats could not bear to, for the sake of the cat, he could let the spirit emperor die a little later. The divine emperor and the heavenly king's clones were still fighting. The more they fought, the more brutal it became. When Fang Ping arrived, the God-forging envoys, and the others were also participating in the battle. However, at this moment, a few of the Broken Eight were riddled with wounds, and the God-forging envoys clones were reduced by more than half. And the fake divine emperor, also known as the heavenly king, was also panting at this moment. He could no longer maintain the divine emperor's aura. Fang Ping did not sense anything from afar, but when he got closer, he quickly sensed a familiar aura. Heavenly King. It was indeed the aura of the Heavenly King. At this time, the Heavenly King was somewhat unable to maintain such a transformation. On the opposite side, the Divine Emperor's avatar was also somewhat damaged. There was a huge hole in its chest, but it was healing. Seeing Fang Ping rush over, the Divine Emperor did not panic. He glanced at Fang Ping and chuckled. You have already become a demon. Demon? Fang Ping sneered. So what if I am a demon? You immortals and gods are high and mighty. Then let me, this demon, overturn you all, eradicate you all, and let there be no immortals and gods in the three realms. The Divine Emperor laughed. He glanced at the Heavenly King opposite him and panted softly. Fang Ping, you see us as enemies. What about him? He stretched out his hand and pointed at the Heavenly King. You said that all emperors should be killed. Do you know what the Heavenly King wants to do now? The Heavenly King's expression did not change, and he did not say anything. He wants to prove his Tao and become an emperor. The Divine Emperor's voice mocked. He wants to become a supreme emperor. The one fighting with the spirit was his beginner martial body, a beginner martial body at the peak of Broken Eight. If he swallowed the seed, he could break through to Broken Nine. This is the origin body. It has already broken through to broken 9. Now that he has proven his Tao, he will become an emperor directly. The origin body of an emperor, the beginner martial body, has broken through to broken 9. He has been guarding the human world for 8,000 years. I'm afraid there are clues to the true seed. Find the true seed. Swallow the true seed. Prove your Tao at the beginner martial level. Combine the 2 Taos. Surpass the celestial emperor and the yang god, and truly become an invincible emperor in the 3 realms. Do you think he will let you go? Let us go. Fang Ping, you are just his knife. You have thought that many people are plotting against you, but have you ever thought that you are actually just his pawn? He is guarding the human world. He has the greatest chance, and he is also the most confident. Even if we want to plant pawns in the human world, the heavenly king will not let go. Do you really think you can plant pawns in the human world? The divine emperor smiled mysteriously. The new martial arts in the human world are guided by him. The appearance of the emperor path is also his credit. Do you really think he is helping you? If the human world is not developing faster and faster, how could the heaven-human realm wall be broken so soon? The yang god has not appeared for a long time. Is it really hiding in the dark, or has it been suppressed by him long ago? How much do you know? The yang god has already broken through to broken 9. Perhaps it will also become his nourishment. The heavenly king looked at him coldly. He did not say anything, nor did he explain anything. The divine emperor looked at Fang Ping again and said with a smile, "Until now, do you still believe that he is a good person? Is he the savior of your human race?" Previously, his double body had broken through to peak 8. Once he fused, he could also rival an emperor. However, he has never fused. He has been waiting for an opportunity. The human race has suffered so many difficulties and setbacks. Is it really because of us? If he shows his strength, who would dare to provoke the human race? Today, the Tao tree failed to prove its Tao. There is no one guarding the 3 gates. It is also the best time for him to break through the Tao. Once the origin body proves its Tao, he will be an invincible existence. Fang Ping, will you kill me or kill him? Proving. Fang Ping looked at the heavenly king, and the heavenly king also looked at Fang Ping. He and the divine emperor had fought for a long time, and both sides were severely injured. At this moment, Fang Ping became braver and braver as he fought. Instead, he was the strongest here. Whichever side Fang Ping helped, that side would become the winner. At the side, the God creation envoy had a complicated expression and did not say a word. Heavenly Hound, and the others were all shocked. Heavenly King suppressing was actually going to prove his Tao. Fang Ping suddenly laughed. In the next moment, he brandished his saber and killed. Slash. Blood chi filled the sky. Before the saber landed, the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood appeared in everyone's mind. Countless powerhouses had fallen. It was clear. Everyone saw the Tao tree that had just been killed, the human emperor that had been killed, the heavenly emperor that had been shattered, Yuan Gang that had broken through 6, Yi that had broken through 7, King Sun, Sky Chief, Heaven Reverse, Lu Shan, Yin Fei, Tian Ji, Tian Ming. There were too many powerhouses. Familiar, unfamiliar. These people had all died in Fang Ping's hands, or indirectly died in Fang Ping's hands. There were a lot of saints. Many of the 36 saints had died in Fang Ping's hands. There were also countless true gods and emperors. More than half of the true gods and emperors that had fallen in the 3 realms had also been killed by Fang Ping. As for the weak, there were so many that Fang Ping himself had lost count. In the catacombs, he had killed too many people. Life King, Sky Demon King, Myriad Demon King, Maple King, Maple extermination, Maple Joching, Skygate City Lord, since the first time he entered the catacombs. Fong Ping had been killing. He had flattened the Magic City catacombs, the Forbidden Catacombs, the Nanjiang Catacombs, the Tian'an Catacombs. He had flattened the king's battleground and wiped out the last Divine Court army. He had killed all the Divine Sect powerhouses that had stayed behind. He had also flattened a few boundaries and a few grandmasters. In just 3 years, the number of people Fong Ping had killed was probably more than the emperors had killed. One after another, the major forces had been destroyed in Fong Ping's hands. Even on the human side, it was not that Fong Ping had never killed anyone. In the past on campus, he had killed MCMAU students. In the arena, he had destroyed the Yang family's powerful enemies. When he had captured criminals, he had also killed countless people. From the day he had come into contact with martial arts, he had begun to walk the path of massacre. He had killed all the way until now. There were too many. At this moment, with this slash, these people who had died had all appeared. Resentment, hatred, wailing, cursing, it was like purgatory. This slash was aimed at the Emperor God. Even if the Emperor God had a strong will at this moment, he was a little moved and shocked. Demon, the demon among humans, the devil of the 3 realms. Fong Ping called this slash the Chaos Vanquishing Saber. However, the Emperor God had an idea. Demon Saber, the righteous 9 Emperors seal, was actually used by Fong Ping as a demon saber. Ha! A low roar reverberated in all directions. The Emperor God quickly broke out of this trance state. His doppelganger was actually affected by it. Kill! In the next moment, a thicker vitality boiled. Fong Ping's saber was like thunder, slashing in all directions. There was a rumble. The Emperor God could not retreat in time. He had only touched the saber glare slightly, and all the flesh and blood on his body disappeared immediately. His skeleton was exposed. It was not an ordinary skeleton. At this moment, it was glowing with the light of a divine weapon. He had used a divine weapon to cast the foundation. Not only was the skeleton a divine weapon, but the thin sword in the Emperor God's hand was also a divine weapon. This first emperor had a strong capital. He was more extravagant than the other emperors. He had used 2 divine weapons directly to cast this avatar, which had the power to break 9 levels. However, facing Fong Ping, he was still at a loss. Slash after slash, Fong Ping seemed to never get tired. The Emperor God was overwhelmed. The thin sword attacked, but before it could get close, it was wrapped by Fong Ping's vitality, affecting his mind. Mountains of corpses and seas of blood filled the Emperor God's mind. Fong Ping had really become a demon. Was there a demon path in the 3 realms? Those with different paths were demons. In the past, beginner martial arts regarded Origin as a demon. Origin regarded beginner martial arts as a demon. Those who killed a lot were demons. Those who were sinister and cunning were demons. Today, the Emperor God was a little dazed. Fong Ping was the real demon. Slash, slash, slash. Every slash was a fatal killing move. Fong Ping did not show mercy. Every move was a killing move that had been tempered 1,000 times. He had killed too many people. He knew how to kill powerhouses. After all, the avatar was not the main body. It did not have the powerful mentality of the main body. It did not have the powerful calculation ability of the main body. And it did not have the sharp perception of danger. Compared to the Tao tree, although the Emperor God avatar was strong, it was still a notch lower. In addition, after fighting with the Heavenly King for a long time and being besieged by the God creation envoys, the Emperor God avatar had long lost its peak state. At this moment, after being slashed by Fong Ping for thousands of times, even the bones made of divine weapons were faintly making a sound at this moment. On the side, The heavenly king was still in a trance. Fong Ping suddenly shouted angrily, "Are you watching a show? Kill him. If you really want to prove your Tao, then go and prove your Tao. If you succeed, go and kill the emperor if you have the ability. If you want the 3 realms, if you want this world, I'll give it to you. Even if we meet again on the battlefield, I'll die in battle without regrets." The heavenly king looked at Fong Ping and suddenly sighed. "Kid, you're teaching me a lesson." As soon as the words fell, a round ball appeared again. The round ball that did not play a role in killing the emperor previously erupted with unimaginable power at this moment. As soon as the round ball was thrown, even if the emperor god would rather take a slash from Fong Ping, he had to avoid this ball. However, the emperor god still underestimated Fong Ping's saber. The saber slashed down. This time, the emperor god took the initiative to take the hit. There was a loud bang. Crack. The bones were broken. Countless vitality was still rapidly corroding other bones. The divine weapon as bones could not hold on this time. The emperor god was hit by the saber and lost some balance. The round ball hit his head instantly. This time, Fong Ping knew how the big hole in the emperor god's chest came about. Bang! The extremely sturdy skull was directly smashed into pieces under the impact of this round ball. Fong Ping was shocked. What a powerful weapon! This was a divine weapon. It seemed to be even sturdier and heavier than a divine weapon. The heavenly king withdrew the round ball instantly. Seeing Fong Ping looking at him, he chuckled. "What are you looking at?" "I found an origin Earth star and refined it into a weapon. If you have the ability, go and find it in the origin universe yourself." As soon as the words came out, Fong Ping was shocked again. F***CK. Origin Earth star? Even if Song Mao could travel in the origin universe, its cat world was paved with origin Earth. In reality, there was not much origin Earth. This old guy, the heavenly king, had actually found a planet made of origin Earth in the universe. The most important thing was that he had refined it into a weapon. F***CK. How extravagant was that? What a waste. No wonder it was incomparably heavy and sturdy. The heavenly king was a little smug. Fong Ping had scolded him previously, and he was very unhappy. He felt a little uncomfortable. After this kid killed the Tao tree, he became arrogant. Did he really think that he was invincible? Wasn't he just borrowing strength? What was he so arrogant about? Look at me, a weapon made from origin Earth star. Was I arrogant? Was I inflated? Wasn't I still low-key? Wasn't it better to keep a low profile? All of Fong Ping's possessions, even if the saber transformed from the 9 Emperor seal was added together, might not be as precious as his round ball. This was the true meaning of keeping a low profile. A nouveau riche. The heavenly king defined Fong Ping in his heart. What was there to be proud of? You even started to lecture me. Today, I'll let you know what is called a foundation, what is called wealth. Lock. With a soft shout, a large net appeared between heaven and earth, directly covering the emperor god. Lock Skynet. On the other side, the god creation envoy screamed mournfully, "Damn, you really stole it. The bastard who robbed me 20,000 years ago was you. I'll F***CK, your ancestors." The heavenly king's face darkened. "That's a dragon confining Lock. I'm a Lock Skynet. Who the F***CK robbed you." As soon as he said that, he broke the jar. The Lock Skynet locked the emperor god, and in the next moment, a weapon appeared in the god creation envoy's hand. The style was a little strange, somewhat similar to a nail. Emperor slaying nail. The heavenly king introduced it again, and the god creation envoy cursed again. "That's the dragon slaying nail. I was going to use it to deal with the beast emperor and take some of the beast emperor's bones. Get lost. This is the emperor slaying nail." The heavenly king ignored him. 20,000 years ago, this thing was already in his hands, so it was his. He could name it whatever he wanted. It had nothing to do with the God creation envoy. Brat, do you think you're the only one with a divine weapon? The heavenly king snorted coldly, and the long nail in his hand shot out. With a rumble, the emperor god, who had just been covered by the net, was pierced by the long nail this time, and nailed into the void. Seeing that Fang Ping was in a daze, the heavenly king shouted coldly, "Why aren't you attacking? Kill him." Fang Ping's eyes flickered as he stared at him for a while. This old thing was hiding so many good things, but he had never revealed them before. On the other side, the God creation envoy was about to go crazy. "Li Chun, I'll fuck your ancestors. Give it back to me." The heavenly king's face darkened as he shouted coldly, "What are you shouting for? If you keep shouting, even your bones will be broken. What is yours? It's all mine." The God creation envoy was furious, but the others did not care, especially the heavenly hound, who sneered, "What is this? I remember that year, the stupid cat, and this king stole some food, and it was all snatched away by someone. I recognized him a long time ago. It was clearly a life and death battle for the emperor's slaying battle, but at this moment, it was caused by the heavenly king." Fang Ping was too lazy to say anything else. With a cold shout, he broke through the air and charged towards the emperor god. The emperor god was trapped by the lock sky net and nailed to the void by the emperor's slaying nail. At this moment, he was already at the end of his tether. His skull was shattered, and at this moment, even his head was gone. However, the emperor god was still indifferent. At this moment, seeing Fang Ping approaching, his head reappeared and said indifferently, "After all, it's just an avatar. If it's destroyed, then it's destroyed." This old man still has to say, "This time, you killed the avatars of the emperors. Even if someone uses you as a chess piece, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape death. Fang Ping, if you want to live, leave this place now. You shouldn't have taken the seed projection. The heaven-breaking jade has already broken through the void passageway. This is your only chance of survival." Fang Ping looked at him and smiled. "Qiang, do you think I'm afraid of death?" The emperor god looked at him and said indifferently, "Even if you're not afraid, is it really worth it to die like this? This time, you killed the Tao tree and the avatars of the emperors. You've already touched the bottom line of the emperors. If you take away the seed projection, no one will let you go. Are you saving me?" Fang Ping smiled sinisterly. The emperor god said calmly, "I'm saving you. The sun god is very likely to be hiding in the human world. If you succeed in proving your Tao this time, you, Fang Ping, may be the only one who can balance them. If that's the case, why can't I save you? My avatar has fallen, and my real body doesn't know about this. I'm afraid these people won't leak it to the outside world. Beginner powerhouses, as soon as you came here, your perception was sealed. Don't you know?" Fang Ping knew. Beside him, Heavenly King Zhen still explained at this moment, "It's not good for beginners to know. If more people know, it's easy for unforeseen events to happen." "Explain what?" Fang Ping snorted coldly. "If you really feel bad, give me the ball and everything will be fine." Heavenly King Zhen almost cursed. "Give you AD*MN. This was his most precious thing. For this, he did not even forge a divine weapon and did not nurture it. All these years, he had been nurturing this ball." Fang Ping, bang. A saber pierced through the air. Mixed with the smell of blood, the long saber fell. With a bang, the emperor god's skeleton was smashed. Heavenly King Zhen hurriedly retrieved the fishing net and the long nail. However, Fang Ping grabbed the fishing net directly into his hand, but the long nail flew back. "You, sky spider web, not a bad weapon." Fang Ping murmured. Heavenly King Zhen's face was dark. On the other side, the God creation envoy almost exploded to kill. The meaning of these words was too clear. This thing was Fang Ping's. Heavenly King Zhen took it away and changed his name once. Fang Ping took it away and changed his name once. After changing it, it would be theirs. As for the original owner, who cared about the God creation envoy, they did not dismantle his bones and restore the divine weapon. That was because everyone was in the same group. Otherwise, they would have been knocked out and their bones broken long ago. The Emperor God's avatar was smashed. Not only did Fang Ping seize the fishing net, but he also took away the thin sword. This was also a divine weapon. This time, the harvest was not small. Heavenly King Zhen did not snatch the thin sword. Fang Ping killed the Emperor God. Although he contributed a lot, without Fang Ping, it would be difficult for him to kill the Emperor God. Seeing that Fang Ping had smashed the Emperor God, Heavenly King Zhen said quickly, "The Emperor's true body will not enter easily at this moment. Even if the avatar is killed, they will wait for the seed to be collected by someone so that they can enter this place. Otherwise, if they enter now, the seed will definitely shatter. I think it will take at most 3 to 5 minutes for this place to shatter. Before that, we must collect the seed. Otherwise, not only will the mystic realm self-destruct, the seed will also disappear. Kid, now I want to take the opportunity to go to the real door and break the door to prove my Tao and enter the source. I'm afraid I won't have time to help you anymore." The beginner martial body over there is only peak Broken 8. It can fight with the Broken 9 avatar, but when it meets the true body, it can't last more than 30 moves. You'd better not collect the seed. After killing the Dong Huang avatar, the Spirit Emperor avatar, you decide. After killing it, leave quickly through the passageway. What about you? Me? Heavenly King Zhen laughed. If I want to leave, I can still run away. Besides, the seed is not with me. Not only did you completely offend him this time, but you also killed the Tao tree, which made the sovereign realm cultivator vigilant. Defeating and killing are two different things. Besides, I and the Emperor God's avatar are only on equal footing. You killed it, not me. Therefore, when the Emperor makes a move, the first one to be killed will definitely be you. You have become the Emperor's hidden danger. Fang Ping's gaze changed. The seed said to be sent to the human world. It's too late. You were sent to the human world. The seed disappeared, and the mystic realm shattered. You haven't left yet. This is a boundary point. The Emperor can attack here, the kind that goes all out. You should leave as soon as possible. Don't think about the seed anymore. Fang Ping took a deep breath. If they snatch the seed, can they find the true body of the seed? It's possible. They didn't find it the last few times it appeared. Why can they find it this time? The previous few times, the seed was asleep. Now, I'm afraid there are signs of it waking up. It's easier to find now than before. Then, if they find it, on Earth, what will happen? Heavenly King Zhen hesitated for a moment. Soon, he said, the celestial realm wall will shatter. The Emperor will descend. The 3 realms will become one. A great war will break out. Fang Ping's gaze was cold. Can the human race resist? Or will it implicate the human race? Yes. Fang Ping understood. Then he gritted his teeth and smiled. If that's the case, I have to snatch this seed. Old thing, if I integrate the seed into the human world or absorb it myself, will it draw out the true body of the seed? Fang Ping's words were rude. Heavenly King Zhen was too lazy to say more. Upon hearing that, he said quickly, "No, the seed will enter the human world on its own. It will integrate quickly, and there will be no more clues. If it's absorbed by you, it will also lose some of its original connection and cut off its connection with the true body. Fong Ping gave him a deep look. Then prepare to prove your Tao yourself. I'll kill all those clones and collect the seed. Now that a war has broken out and the 9 emperors have descended, will the human world be destroyed? Heavenly King Zhen was speechless. Can I escape? Fong Ping said coldly. Do I still have a choice? I have no choice. You old thing, you didn't say these things before. Heavenly King Zhen sighed. Before this, I didn't think that you could really snatch the seed. I also didn't think that you could kill the Tao tree. If the Tao tree integrated with the seed, he will prove his Tao, and I will follow him to prove my Tao. When the time comes, the seed will be absorbed by the Tao tree. Those people won't be able to find clues based on the absorbed seed. I didn't expect it to be like this either. Heavenly King Zhen was very innocent. Even he did not want to snatch the seed and kill the Tao tree. In the end, the Tao tree was killed. Where could he go to reason with this? After thinking for a while, Heavenly King Zhen said quickly, if it doesn't work, get close to the seed and release the underworld god. Let him absorb the seed. You escape immediately. If he absorbs the seed, the emperors won't target you first, but him. You have some time to escape. It's safer. Fong Ping sneered. Since the underworld god is helping me, then I won't kill him. You old thing, your thoughts are even blacker than mine. If I don't die this time, let's have a good talk. If I die, you'll protect the humans here. If you don't help, I'll haunt you even as a ghost and make you feel uneasy for the rest of your life. Sigh, it's long past the time to feel uneasy. Heavenly King Zhen sighed. After living for so long, it was normal for him to be thick-skinned and black-hearted. Even if he really became a ghost, it would be useless. Fong Ping's threat was bullsh**. Cut the crap. Fong Ping snorted again and ignored him. He quickly rushed toward Dong Huang. Heavenly King Zhen did not say anything. Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood and began to sit cross-legged on the ground, as if he was healing his injuries. The God Creation Envoy and the others glanced at him. They did not hear what Fong Ping and Heavenly King Zhen said after that, but they generally knew what he was doing. The Heavenly Hound bared its teeth and cursed, I really want to kill him. Enough. If you kill him, Fong Ping might come back to settle the score with you. Let's go and destroy Dong Huang. The God Creation Envoy could not be bothered to say more and quickly rushed toward Fong Ping. The Heavenly Hound and the others did not delay any further and flew into the sky. Chapter 1379. Seeing Fong Ping rushing over with a body full of vitality, Hong Kuan and the others dispersed. However, they remembered their previous promise and did not disperse completely, continuing to surround Dong Huang. In the middle of the crowd, Dong Huang stood calmly with his hands behind his back. His doppelganger would definitely die. He was prepared for this. Fong Ping and so many powerhouses who had broken past 8 were here. At this moment, only he and the Spirit Emperor were still alive. Spirit Sovereign was being held back by Heavenly King Zhenwang, so there was no way he could escape. Fong Ping approached with a saber in hand. Dong Huang smiled and said, Fong Ping, let's have a chat. There's no harm in me dispersing my avatar later, and there's no need to trouble you to make a move, lest there's an unnecessary increase in casualties. Fong Ping sneered. What do you want to talk about? Have you seen the murals outside the palace? I did. Emperor Dong Huang sighed softly. I know you've seen it. Do you think that the 3 sovereigns were harmed by me? Isn't it? Fong Ping said mockingly. The Celestial Emperor isn't willing to fix the flaws in the origin, neither is the 9 emperors. So, of course, we can only let the 3 emperors fix it. Dong Huang sighed again. The Celestial Larch did not falsify his memories. His words proved that what Fong Ping and the others had seen was real. It had indeed happened. but Dong Huang chuckled and said, "Some things what you hear might not be true. The three emperors were on good terms with me back then, and Zhan Heng was my disciple. I did say those words, but it didn't mean that I would actually do it. The death of the three thearchs." Dong Huang retracted his smile and said softly, "Perhaps it's inevitable." Fang Ping looked at him mockingly. "Inevitable? Whose death was inevitable?" "The death of the Sky Emperor and all of you is inevitable. The origin's flaw was not caused by the three emperors." Fang Ping sneered. "When it comes to shifting the blame, each of you is better than the other." "That's not the case." Emperor Donghuang pondered for a moment and said, "In the past, the Heavenly Emperor also really wanted to make up for the flaws. We are no exception. When the immortal source was first created, it was actually to make up for the flaws. In the beginning, the Celestial Emperor wanted to fill in the gaps himself. In the past, the flaw was that he had shattered his origin, creating a loophole. However, on the day the plan was to be implemented, many problems arose. You should know that sometimes even the Celestial Emperor can't calculate everything." Emperor Donghuang said in a self-deprecating manner, "The Heavenly Emperor has overestimated himself. Due to the birth of the 9 emperors and the spread of the origin, his flaws have become more and more apparent. He is stronger than he was back then, but his strength is still unable to fill in the gaps. This was something that everyone had discovered after the immortal source was successfully forged. You should know that the great battle only erupted 2,000 years after the immortal origin was created." Dong Huang sighed. "In those 2,000 years, everyone was actually trying to think of a solution. However, as 2,000 years passed, the problem became more and more serious. At that point, there was no way to delay any longer. At that time, Zhan was already about to prove his Tao, but it was also because he was about to prove his Tao that he discovered the problem." Dong Huang said regretfully, "Fighting is also my biggest regret in this life." He had discovered the flaw and understood the severity of the problem. Not even the Celestial Emperor could fix it. If he really wanted to succeed, perhaps he would need the 9 emperors to fix it. Everyone had their own selfish motives, and the emperor was no exception. Who would be willing to die after cultivating to that level? What Zhan meant was that we might not die if we returned to our origins and destroyed our own origins. He would help us to cultivate beginner martial arts again. He was too naive." Dong Huang felt even more regretful. "You should know about the matter of pointing the arrow at the various emperors. That time, it was actually Zhan who discussed this matter with us. In the end, we could not reach an agreement and angered him. That was why he did that." Fang Ping frowned. "If that was the case, Zhan was too stupid. Asking you to die, even if it was just destroying your own Tao, and you might not die. How could you possibly agree? Isn't that courting death?" "Yes, naive." Dong Huang smiled bitterly. Perhaps he felt that the 3 emperors were his teachers. Among the 9 emperors, the 3 of us agreed. Spirit Emperor was already prepared to follow the Celestial Emperor. Do was his elder brother. In that case, the 5 of us had no objections. The other 5, even if they had objections, it was not much use. Earthly Emperor was the biggest objector that day. He berated Zhan for being too naive and did not believe that Zhan would help everyone cultivate beginner martial arts again after everyone destroyed their own origins. It was also because of this that he pointed the arrow at the various emperors that day and targeted the Earthly Emperor. Fang Ping frowned and snorted softly. "If that's the case, then Zhan is an idiot. Asking the 9 emperors to destroy their own Tao and fill in the defects of their origins. How was that possible?" Dong Huang said softly, "Zhan has a pure heart." He felt that everyone had the same goal at that time. The Celestial Emperor had even revealed his intention to suppress the defects. In that case, the Celestial Emperor had no objections, and we had no objections. The biggest objector was only the earthly emperor. Speaking of which, Dong Huang glanced at Fang Ping and shook his head, saying, "Perhaps it's a little similar to the humans today. When faced with the greatest crisis, everyone was united. If someone said today that if the humans wanted to solve the crisis, they needed you and Zhang Tao to die, would you be willing?" Fang Ping frowned and said nothing. That was the case at that time. Dong Huang said self-deprecatingly, "Everyone seemed to not care and were all willing to sacrifice themselves to solve the defects of the Tao." Zhan took it seriously. He really thought that everyone was willing and that we would not have selfish motives. But he did not know that the human heart is the most unpredictable. That time at the 100 Emperors meeting, the others did not disagree. Zhan also said that he could also fill in the defects if it was not enough. Because he was not an emperor, his Tao energy was not too strong. If the 9 emperors could not fill in the defects, he would come again. At that time, according to his understanding, there would be no problem. But who would believe him? Dong Huang was even more self-deprecating. "Even I did not say it at that time. I did not want to believe it either." Zhan was already about to become an emperor. Once he became an emperor, he might surpass the celestial emperor and become the first emperor if we cut off our Tao and he became an emperor again. Even if the celestial emperor came, he might not necessarily be unable to fight. Plus, celestial emperor and Midu were on good terms with him. So you joined forces to kill him. Fang Ping sneered. Zhan was too naive. He actually pinned his hopes on the 9 emperors cutting off their own Tao to fill in the defects. Wishful thinking. If it was that simple, the 9 emperors would not be the 9 emperors. Dong Huang felt even more regretful. "Actually, we did not kill him. Actually, after this, Zhan still believed in us. The only one who did not believe in us was probably the earthly emperor." Dong Huang seemed to be reminiscing, and said with a sigh he went to heavenly court to convince the earthly emperor. Midu once advised him not to go out alone to avoid encountering mishaps. At that time, the emperor was also in heavenly court, and the emperor was also Zhan's teacher. At that time, Zhan did not think too much. He only felt that even if he could not convince the earthly emperor with the emperor around, there was still room for negotiation. Fang Ping felt that Zhan Sha was even more adorable. Nerd. Did he read too many books and turn himself stupid? You wanted to kill the 9 emperors. You still wanted to convince the earthly emperor to cut off his Tao. It would be strange if the earthly emperor would agree to you. According to Fang Ping's understanding, the earthly emperor was extremely unruly. It would be strange if he could reason with Zhan. Sure enough, Dong Huang said again, Zhan did not manage to convince the earthly emperor in heavenly court. Instead, it was the earthly emperor who opened his mouth that day to join forces with Zhan to deal with the other emperors and celestial emperors. Dong Huang said sadly, what the earthly emperor meant was that the few celestial emperors did not need to make up for their flaws. For the 9 emperors, it was not a big deal without him and the emperor. At most, there would be more origin martial artists to make up for some of the flaws. Even if the Tao was not perfect, there would not be any big problems. The earthly emperor and the emperor met Zhan together that day, but Zhan was not willing. Dong Huang sighed again. His idea was to take the initiative to convince everyone. Moreover, in his understanding, we all had the intention to suppress the flaws. Only the earthly emperor was not willing. The one who really wanted to convince was still the earthly emperor. In the end, both sides still could not reach an agreement. Zhan put forward a new idea. He could replace the earthly emperor. Fang Ping gritted his teeth and could not help but mock. Is this nerd so stupid? Yes, stupid. Dong Huang was indescribably bleak. He thought that if he said this, the earthly emperor would agree. Jean meant that the earthly emperor would protect everyone and prevent everyone from cutting off their Tao and dying. However, he did not know that the earthly emperor also thought that he was an idiot and ignored him. The earthly emperor knew what everyone was thinking. How could he agree to his impossible condition? Jean did not know that the emperor who was present that day, seeing that he was determined to do this, secretly contacted many emperors. Fang Ping's expression changed slightly. Besieging and killing? That's right. Dong Huang nodded. Not only Jean, but also the earthly emperor, because the earthly emperor and Jean mentioned joining forces. Everyone was worried that there would be unforeseen events. You have to know that if Jean became an emperor that day, even if his combat power was not as strong as the celestial emperor, he would not be weaker than the god emperor. And the earthly emperor would not be weaker than me. In addition, Dou's attitude was unclear. He would definitely support Jean's celestial emperor and Mia. In this way, everyone else was in danger. With Jean's stubbornness, he might be persuaded by the earthly emperor and eventually kill all the emperors. So that day, all the emperors went out to kill Jean, and the earthly emperor, did the earthly emperor die at that time? No. Dong Huang shook his head. That time, Jean gave up on his own. He felt that since the celestial emperor was willing to make up for the flaw, he did not become an emperor, so the flaw was not big. If he used his body to suppress it, there might not be so many emperors dying. Moreover, he thought that others would consider this. Even if the 9 emperors did not all sever their paths, there would still be people who would support him. The flaw would definitely be made up for. So, after he gave up that time, the earthly emperor saw the danger and quickly escaped after he died. That was why the earthly emperor was not killed that time. An idiot! Fang Ping defined. The earthly emperor saw it more clearly than Jean, so the earthly emperor did not expect the 9 emperors to sever their paths. Fang Ping looked at Dong Huang and sneered. Then why are you telling me all this today? Dong Huang looked at Fang Ping and sighed. I said all this because you made me think of Jean. Me? Fang Ping could not help but laugh wildly. I made you think of Jean? How can I be the same as that idiot? The same? Dong Huang looked at him and said regretfully, although the two of you have different paths and personalities, you are both stubborn, persistent, and naive. Jean thought he could persuade the 9 emperors, but you thought you could definitely kill the 9 emperors. Your goal is to quell the threat of the origin. Although the path you take is different, the goal is the same, and the result is very likely to be the same. Fang Ping, you don't understand. At this point, many people's goal is no longer to solve the threat of the origin. You know that? Fang Ping's eyes moved slightly. Dong Huang continued. In the beginning, maybe everyone wanted to solve the problem of the origin. But in the end, everyone's thoughts have long changed. Especially after so many years, everyone no longer wants to solve the problem of the origin. Do you think everyone is really looking for the seed to solve the problem of the origin? Wrong. Everyone is doing it for themselves, for transcendence. Since there is a problem with the origin, then don't walk the path of the origin. The seed is the source of the 3 realms' power. If you devour the seed, what path can't you walk? Why bother walking the path of the origin? Since there is a problem with the path of the origin, then give up on this path. Kill all those who cultivate the origin. Then everything will not be difficult anymore. You are even more naive than Jean 10,000 years ago. At that time, among the 9 emperors, actually there were still people who supported Jean. Now, no one will support you. You understand? Fang Ping and Jean were 2 completely different people. However, from Dong Huang's point of view, they were the same. Different paths leading to the same goal. And these 2 people, in the end, would not have a good ending. Jean, back then, it was not enough that he died. In the end, Mia and Celestial Emperor Batian died in battle. Feng Ping, perhaps he would also walk this path. He was destined not to succeed. Today, Feng Ping was here, killing everywhere, killing the Emperor's clones, and establishing himself as the Demon King. Anyone with a discerning eye would know his intentions. Killing the Celestial Emperor, killing the 9 emperors, and solving the problem of the origin. However, was it possible? It was impossible. In the end, Feng Ping also brought about his own destruction. You want me to give up? Feng Ping said mockingly. You want me to let you go? You want me to know how insignificant I am, that I am destined to fail. So what I should do now is to escape the 3 realms and leave this place immediately. You want to tell me that I shouldn't have offended the emperors? You want to tell me that I shouldn't have taken the seed, that if I took it, I won't have the life to enjoy it? Dong Huang looked at him and sighed. Since you understand, why do you have to walk your own path to a dead end? This is a dead end. A dead end? Feng Ping sneered. You say it like if I admit defeat now. It's not a dead end. Since it's a dead end, I'm destined to have no way out. Why should I compromise? I'd rather die in battle than to drift to the end and be trampled to death by you guys like an ant. Even if I die, I'll bite you guys once and let you guys feel the pain. I'll let you know that in this life, there's a martial artist named Feng Ping who almost bit you bastards to death. Feng Ping's voice grew louder and louder. I'll be a hero when I'm alive and a hero when I die. Even if I, Feng Ping, am no match for you, I'll let the powerhouses of the 3 realms know that if I die, I'll leave my name in history. If I die without resistance, it's as light as a feather. Countless historical facts tell us that even if you lower your head, kneel on your knees, lose your face, and give up your dignity, you still can't escape death in the end, and your death won't be worth it. Feng Ping looked around, pointing at Hong Yu and the rest, laughing coldly. I'm talking about you guys. If you resist, you'll be a hero even if you die. If you don't resist, you'll die in vain. Your origin is incomplete. No matter who wins, you'll all die. Everyone was speechless. After a long time, Feng said slowly, Feng Ping, we're only breaking 8, not 9, and we're not emperors either. Even if we resist, it'll be useless. We can only wait for the right time, or else we'll just die in vain. Feng Ping sneered. You all have the same thoughts. That's why I've killed so many of you, but you still don't dare to resist. I've killed from low ranks to high ranks, from high ranks to now. I've turned you guys upside down, but still no one dares to fight to the death with me. Because you're all thinking, wait a little longer, wait a little longer. I'm not dead. I still have hope. The 3 realms still exist. The emperors are still trapped. Stupid. This is like boiling a frog in warm water. When you're really about to die, do you think you can jump out of that pot of warm water? Idiot! Feng Ping could not be bothered to say more. He looked at Dong Huang again and said coldly, buying time? I'll count to 3, kill yourself, or I'll send you on your way. I, Feng Ping, am not these idiots. Do you think I'll let you go after seeing your sincerity? You're so stupid. I've never trusted emperors like you. Feng Ping grinned, because I don't even trust myself. As soon as he finished speaking, there was no need to count to 3. Feng Ping raised his saber and killed. Dong Huang blocked subconsciously. As soon as he did, Feng Ping went crazy. His eyes were bloodshot. I knew you guys can't be trusted. Let's kill together. Are you watching the show? Calm down. With a loud roar, the saber gleam soared to the sky, the blood-red light illuminating the 3 realms. Feng Ping was like a mad demon, slashing and killing madly. Dong Huang fought and retreated, feeling a little helpless. He said, your murderous intent is too heavy. Feng Ping, if this goes on, in the end, the human race might be destroyed by you before it's destroyed in the hands of others. Then I'm willing to. Fang Ping shouted fiercely. I'd rather the human race die in my hands and be destroyed in my hands than become your pawns and bait. After I die in battle, the human race will be destroyed on the eve of its destruction. Sai, if you're talking about those technological weapons that are used in war today, Dong Huang said slowly, then you're wrong. This plan will never succeed. Fang Ping's gaze was cold and fierce. He looked at Moon Spirit in the distance. Moon Spirit's heart trembled. She said in a low voice, I didn't reveal it. Dong Huang said softly, Fang Ping, the human race is not really one. Do you really think that the human race can still be united in the face of such a crisis? Go to hell. Do you want me to doubt others? Even if I have doubts, I'll investigate after I kill all of you. Fang Ping roared. With a slash of his saber, countless figures collapsed. You underestimate me, Fang Ping. Sowing discord is useless against me. At most, Zhang Tao betrayed me and compromised with you for the sake of the human race. Do you think I've never thought about it? Fang Ping's eyes were blood red. With a slash of his saber, he chopped off one of Dong Huang's arms. He sneered. I've prepared myself for this. I'll be condemned by the public, enemies everywhere. My brothers and friends will leave me. My family and lovers will turn on me. I don't care. In this life, I won't destroy you. If I die in their hands, I'll gladly endure it. Go to hell. Rumble. A deafening rumble reverberated. Dong Huang's expression became even more complicated. With a rumble, he exploded into pieces. Since things had already come to this, what else could he say? Even if he was condemned by the public, even if his family, brothers, and lovers had betrayed him, Fang Ping's evil heart would not change. He would not stop until he killed all the emperors. At this point, Dong Huang had nothing else to say. Rumble! Dong Huang's avatar exploded. Nothing was left. The only divine weapon was with Spirit Emperor. Behind him, Zhang Tao's expression was complicated. For the sake of the human race, betraying Fang Ping. For the sake of the human race, he compromised with the 9 emperors. Would this day come? He could not guarantee it. He dared not think about it either. Today, however, Fang Ping had revealed this bloody reality. For the humans, Zhang Tao's heart ached. Would it? He did not know. He really did not know. If one day someone told him that as long as Fang Ping died, the humans would definitely escape this disaster. Definitely, 100% sure. What would Zhang Tao do? He really did not know. If Fang Ping, who had fought for the humans, died in the hands of the humans. Zhang Tao dared not think about it. He did not want to think about it. Around them, the others' expressions were extremely complicated. Fang Ping was not stupid. On the contrary, he was very smart. Smart. It made them feel that being too smart might not be a good thing. Fang Ping had considered a lot and thought about a lot. He had thought about it even more than them. He had already prepared for everything, prepared for every possibility. He had even thought that Zhang Tao, whom he trusted, would betray him for the humans. No one dared to think about it. If such a day really came, would Fang Ping accept it calmly? Fang Ping slashed at Dong Huang, his eyes red. He looked around, but his expression was not as complicated as the others. He sneered, even if you haven't eaten pork before, you haven't seen a pig run. Why think so much now? I haven't betrayed you yet, right? If you really betray me, we'll talk about it later. I, Fang Ping, am not a pedantic person like Jean. Do you think I'll let you kill me and not kill you? If there really comes a day, I'll say, well done, and Fang Ping's shackles, will be released from now on. The 3 realms are big, and I can do whatever I want. I still have to say thank you. Fang Ping snorted softly. He looked at old Zhang and said mockingly, "The older you get, the more pretentious you get. If someone really comes looking for you, tell them that if I, Fong Ping, leave the humans and they will be safe, then agree to it. As for killing me, let them do it themselves. You guys are still not my match. Forget about you, Zhang Tao. Even if it's my parents, I'm still on guard. Do you really think I'll be killed? You're thinking too much. I haven't experienced much, but I've seen too much. If you really think I'm so easy to kill, then you, Zhang Tao, are an idiot. The destruction of the humans is also your fault." Zhang Tao smiled bitterly and sighed. "Forget it. Don't think too much. I think killing you is harder and more dangerous than killing the 9 emperors. You're even more ruthless than the 9 emperors. For the sake of the humans, I won't attack you." As soon as he said that, Hong Kuan and the others actually agreed with him. Yes, killing Fong Ping, forget it. This guy was a mad dog. Instead of pinning his hopes on killing Fong Ping, he might as well think of a way to fight the 9 emperors. At least the 9 emperors would not be as crazy as Fong Ping. Thinking about it carefully, if the humans were not crazy and the decision-maker was still Zhang Tao, then they would not do such a thing. Fong Ping was more dangerous than the 9 emperors. Could it be that Zhang Tao did not understand? Everyone was a little worried about him. Before this, they were still pitying Fong Ping. Now that they thought about it, they were really thinking too much. It was better to think about their own future. Fong Ping did not think much of it. He sneered. "Anyway, from now on, I'll be on guard against you, so that you won't kill me. You old sly thing, you have a lot of tricks." Zhang Tao looked helpless. "Why don't you just kill me now and be done with it? Forget it. If I kill you, the new one will be even more stupid. Someone like Li Zhen might really take it seriously. If that's the case, you might as well continue to be the leader of the humans." Zhang Tao shrugged. Li Zhen was indeed more stupid. Forget it. Chapter 1380. Dong Huang was killed. Now, only Spirit Emperor was left. When Fong Ping arrived with the others, Spirit Emperor did not escape, nor did he think about escaping. Emperors also had the dignity of emperors. However, the crowd saw a different scene. At Spirit Emperor's feet, a cat as fat as a pig was tugging at Spirit Emperor's legs, trying to pull him away. "Master, let's go. Let's go. Sob. Let's go, okay?" Big Cat said, "Just hide." "Big Cat, Master won't kill you." The fat 3 cats were struggling to pull Spirit Emperor. Suppressing Heavenly King did not stop them. On the side, Tsang Mao looked around sneakily. When he saw Fong Ping and the others coming, he looked depressed. The liar was here. Spirit Emperor did not move. Holding a long sword, his white clothes fluttering, he looked even more arrogant and cold. Go. She would not go. So what if he was surrounded by enemies on all sides? When had she ever been afraid? Seeing Fong Ping rushing over with a saber, Spirit Emperor sneered. As usual, looking down at Fong Ping, cold and disdainful. "Master," Tsang Mao pulled but felt the atmosphere was different. At this moment, when he looked up and saw Fong Ping, there was a hint of fear in his eyes. In the next moment, Tsang Mao hugged Spirit Emperor's thighs, his fat body blocking in front of Spirit Emperor, meowing anxiously. "Liar, human king, demon king." Tsang Mao was so anxious that he was stuttering. Don't kill Master, okay? Master is not a bad person." Spirit Emperor slapped Tsang Mao until he was dizzy and shouted coldly, "Shut up." Tsang Mao shook his head but was unwilling to give up. Suddenly, he thought of something and hurriedly spat out a lot of food from his mouth. There were snacks given by Tsang Mao, treasures that everyone had fed him before, and some life energy for you, okay? Tsang Mao said pitifully, "For you, it's all delicious, all the best. I didn't eat it. I'll keep it. Get lost. Spirit Emperor kicked Sung Mao away and sneered. I don't need a projection cat to plead for me. You want to kill me. I want to see if you have the ability. No. In the distance, the silhouettes of the three cats had mostly dispersed. They hurried over and stood in front of Spirit Emperor again, looking at Fong Ping pitifully. I still have delicious food, very delicious. I'm a big meatball. I ate a lot of life force. I ate a lot of life force that master collected. Don't kill my master, okay? I don't have any dried fish left. I've given them all to you. The rest were all eaten by me. I ate them all. Even if I killed the owner, I wouldn't get anything. At the side, the gray cat scratched its ears and cheeks anxiously. Even so, the cat knew that Fong Ping wanted to kill the monarch's avatar. The fake fatty refused to bow down and kept taunting the liar. The liar would definitely not let her go. Third cat, Ash Cat called out. When Third Cat saw Ash Cat, he said anxiously, Big Cat, I'm begging you, tell the Devil King not to kill Master, okay? Scram! Ling Huang was furious. He raised the sword in his hand and pierced through the three cats. With a flick of the sword, the three cats were sent flying far away. Spirit Emperor looked at Fong Ping and said coldly, Trash, what are you hesitating for? I thought you were a real demon. I didn't expect you to be nothing more than this. Fong Ping looked at her and sneered. If you want to die, I'll grant your wish. I'm just thinking, in your heart besides the Celestial Emperor, has there ever been anyone else? It's not your place to tell me what to do. Boom. Spirit Emperor unsheathed his sword and slashed at Fong Ping. Buzz. The sound of the sword rang in all directions. At this moment, a blood-red long saber cut through the air. Slash! With a loud clang, Fong Ping took a few steps back. Spirit Emperor also took a few steps back. In the next moment, a shield in front of Spirit Emperor suddenly turned into a cloak. The blood-red cloak landed on his body. The blood-red cloak, the white robe, and the long sword in his hand. At this moment, Spirit Emperor's face was cold, overbearing and cold. Compared to the other monarch's avatars, he had more of an emperor's aura, more of an emperor's overbearing and untamed. You're stronger than the others. Fong Ping laughed. Spirit Emperor sneered. You think you're qualified to judge me? Do you really think you're qualified to judge the emperors of the three realms just because you killed the Tao tree? Fong Ping grinned. You're not bad, but your mouth is very cheap. You have to go against me. Sorry, I won't look up to you just because you're a woman, and I won't show mercy to you. However, for the sake of the three cats, for the sake of you being a woman, I'll still give you some preferential treatment. At this moment, Fong Ping's aura erupted even stronger. Everyone was stunned. Fong Ping was going to fight Spirit Emperor one-on-one. To show my respect for you, Fong Ping said coldly, Today, all the powerhouses of the three realms besieged you. That's enough to overestimate you. Hung you guys besieged Dong Huang previously. It's fine if you don't interfere now, but leave this place. The rest of you, including Heavenly King Zhen, do your best to send Spirit Emperor on his way today with the highest standards. There was silence everywhere. Even the corners of Heavenly King Zhen's mouth twitched. So, you're going to kill her? We thought you were going to fight one-on-one. Even Spirit Emperor lost his composure at this moment and said angrily, You shameless villain. Nonsense. Those who can fight as a group but fight one-on-one are idiots. Fong Ping cursed. Do I look like one? Why should I fight one-on-one with you? Did you really think the power of Broken Nine could continue? The underworld god, and the others could not hold on any longer. As for Fong Ping, the consumption of wealth was also beyond imagination. The remaining 200 billion wealth points were being consumed at an extremely fast rate. Tens of billions were being consumed every minute. Did you really think changing your aura was free? Only the battle ended quickly. From the moment Fang Ping merged them until now, less than 5 minutes had passed. Otherwise, Fang Ping would not be able to continue merging. The consumption was too high. Why waste time with Spirit Emperor? One-on-one. Who knew if he could win for sure? Including killing Dong Huang earlier. That was because Dong Huang was not in the mood to fight again. It was not because Fang Ping could really suppress Dong Huang. They were both broken 9. How much stronger could he be? What are you standing there for? Surround and kill her. Although everyone despised Fang Ping, they had to admit that surrounding and killing her was indeed much easier. Heavenly King Jin sighed and said helplessly, "Spirit Emperor, forgive me. If you want to blame someone, blame Fang Ping. Don't blame me. Kill." His words were polite, but he did not seem to be very relaxed. Heavenly King Jin was a beginner martial body. His physique was incomparably strong. His vitality shook the sky. With a punch, the void shook. Hong Yu and the others nearby, those with weaker physiques, could feel their bodies exploding. Kill. The God Creation Envoy and the others did not show any mercy. They all charged toward Spirit Emperor. Spirit Emperor's beautiful eyebrows were raised high. With a long sword in hand, his murderous aura was awe-inspiring. The sound of the sword rang out. Kill. Both sides were merciless. At this moment, who would show mercy? If he showed mercy, he might die. Poof! A sword pierced through Heavenly Hound's head. Spirit Emperor was about to pull out his sword when Fang Ping's saber swept across. The void did not tremble. The energy was not apparent. But the saber slashed Spirit Emperor's palm and blood splattered everywhere. Spirit Emperor's expression did not change. He continued to pull out his sword. Heavenly Hound roared and opened its mouth to bite. Crack! With a crisp sound, Spirit Emperor's palm was directly bitten. His left hand turned into a fist and punched out, causing Heavenly Hound's skull to crack. However, Heavenly Hound refused to let go. On the other side, Sure Po's expression was complicated. His long spear shot out, piercing the red cloak with a loud sound. Heavenly King Jin punched out, once again causing the cloak to explode. Spirit Emperor spat out blood, her face pale. Fang Ping slashed at her head. Before the blade landed, a bloody mark had already appeared on Spirit Emperor's forehead. Both sides went all out, killing until flesh and blood flew everywhere. Some belonged to others, and some belonged to Spirit Emperor. In the distance, 3 cats were pierced by the Spirit Emperor's sword. At this moment, the cat hurriedly ran over and grabbed its tail. Its claws caressed it and comforted it. 3 cats, don't be sad. That's a fake fatty, a bad person. Meow. 3 cats whined. No, Master isn't a bad person. Master isn't. Master didn't want the 3 cats to die with her, so he deliberately beat me away. Master is a good person. Big Cat, the life force that Master has sucked away for so many years, has been eaten by this cat. A lot. Master knows that I've eaten it, but he still put it there. Always put it there. Meow, don't kill Master, okay? 3 cats struggled to run over there. The cat grabbed its tail, its face twisted. But the swindler must kill the fake fatty. He's afraid that the fake fatty will attack him. With 1 more broken 9, the swindler will be in danger too. The mystic realm was about to be broken. Before that, Fang Ping would collect the seeds and prepare to escape. With the emperors outside, he had to clean up these threats and hidden dangers inside. Otherwise, even Fang Ping had no confidence in surviving when he was attacked from all sides. Precisely because the cat knew this. Even if 3 cats pleaded for mercy, Even if it felt that Spirit Emperor was not a bad person, it could not plead for mercy. If the fake fatty really attacked and cut off the swindler's escape route, the swindler would definitely die. 3 cats whined. Big cat, I can't accompany you to eat delicious food anymore. I've given all the delicious food from before to you. 3 cats, where are you going? To save master. 3 cats broke free from the cat's control and ran in that direction. The cat hurriedly chased after them, not caring much. Meow. Over at Heavenly Battle Emperor's side, 2nd cat meowed anxiously. That's 3rd cat. Master Big Cat is going to kill 3rd cat. Heavenly Battle Emperor was helpless too. He sighed softly. He doesn't want to be attacked from all sides. She doesn't want to compromise with him. Since that's the case, we can only fight. Meow. 2nd cat's eyes were filled with anxiety. It did not want to see Big Cat's master kill 3rd cat. Although the 3 cats were not one, they originated from the same cat. After so many years, they had their own thoughts and masters. Now, Big Cat's master wanted to kill 3rd cat and 3rd cat's master. 2nd cat was very sad. It did not want this to happen. Heavenly Battle Emperor looked at the seed projection in the sky. At this moment, the projection was becoming more and more unstable. Mystic Realm is going to break. As he said that, he looked at the void in the distance, at the young man standing at the entrance of a black hole. Wang Jinyang. Heavenly Battle Emperor glanced at Wang Jinyang. Wang Jinyang seemed to have sensed something and looked at him too, but he did not see anything. Heavenly Battle Emperor looked at the seed, then at Fang Ping, then at the passageway, where Wang Jinyang was. Suddenly, he understood. He laughed. You have guts and a big appetite. You dare to snatch food from the mouth of a tiger. You are indeed more ruthless and black-hearted than me. Meow. 2nd cat was anxious to death. How could it be in the mood to listen to his nonsense? Don't be anxious. Don't be anxious. You lazy cat. When have you ever been so anxious? Seed. Origin. Emperor. Great Tao. Heavenly Battle Emperor mumbled. I can use him to travel around the 3 realms. I also want to return to the old land to see the wind and rain, to see the water and clouds of the old land. Meow. Don't scold people. Heavenly Battle Emperor laughed. Wind, flower, snow, moon, the sound of wind and rain, the sound of reading. This is how a scholar should be a cultivator. You cat, you don't understand. Meow. You even learned to scold people without using vulgarities. You deserve a beating. Heavenly Battle Emperor patted 2nd cat's head and laughed. After studying for so many years, you don't learn the good things, but learn the bad things. Fang Ping and Old Cat have only been here for a few days, but you have learned it well. You know the essence of scolding people right away. Meow. Idiot. 2nd cat scolded again. Naive. This was what he learned from Fang Ping and Emperor Dong Huang. Heavenly Battle Emperor was troubled. How am I an idiot? I'm not naive. This is called convincing people with reason. As the saying goes, diplomacy before force. I understand the principle of being a sage on the inside and a king on the outside. God, human, and East Emperors are my teachers. North Emperor, South Emperor, and West Emperor have also taught me many times. The Beast Emperor is a demon, not a human, so he did not learn much. I wanted you and the heavenly dog to teach the demons, but the 2 of you are unwilling to study. Sigh. Spirit Emperor is a woman. How can I use weapons? This is not what a gentleman would do. Although the Earth Emperor is domineering, he loves his people like his own children. You stupid cat, how can you understand my pain? You can't kill your teachers. You can't kill those who teach. You can't kill those demons who are uneducated and have not been educated. You can't kill them easily either. Women are not hated by the heavens. You can't kill them easily either. You just killed yourself. Second cat's eyes widened, a dazed look on its face. You just killed yourself? You can't say that, Jean Tieny chuckled. This is the arrogance of a scholar. I overestimated myself, thinking that I could suppress all Daos with my body. Later on, I found out that Yelong can be arrogant too. So it's good to study, but you can't just study. All these years, I have read some ancient and modern books. The more I read, the more I feel that I am not as domineering as I used to be. If the divine path is useless, it should be suppressed with thunder and lightning. Unfortunately, it was too late and led to a huge mistake. The second cat looked at him suspiciously. At this moment, it had almost forgotten about the third cat. Soon, it suddenly thought of something and hurriedly said, "The third cat is about to die. You're so talkative. You have to lecture me every time. You deserve to be killed." "You cats, Jean Tieny shook his head. How could he say that? He smiled and looked at Wang Jinyang again, sighing. "In the past, I have sown bitter fruit. Although the three realms were not harmed by me, they have suffered more because of me. Today, I will pay for it." Looking at Fang Ping, Jean Tieny stepped out of the circle of light and said softly, "Since there is no turning back, I will let the latecomers solve the problem. The 9 emperors have already decayed, and the celestial emperor has fallen. There is not much I can do. I don't know who can save the world." On his shoulder, second cat said excitedly, "You are going to save third cat." Whether it is second cat or third cat, they will not be able to escape this calamity. If you are willing, I can give you an opportunity. If you are not willing, then follow me to the 3 realms. Why do you have so many obsessions?" Jean Tiendy's words were filled with affection. It had been too long. It had been so long that he had almost forgotten about the past. This cat had accompanied him for too long. Since it was unwilling to leave, he would be selfish for once and bring this cat along. Selfish for once, is it okay? Everyone can err if they are not saints. Everyone has selfishness, Jean Tieny thought to himself. He patted second cat's head and laughed. "Let's go together, then. I will travel alone. I will be lonely." Bang! Chun Ling Huang's leg bone exploded, and his body staggered. At this moment, a fat cat passed through the crowd and instantly appeared under Chun Ling Huang's broken leg bone. It supported Chun Ling Huang's body. "Meow! Stupid cat scram!" Chun Ling Huang was enraged and punched. With a loud bang, fat cat's body trembled and became even more illusory. "Master!" Third cat whimpered. Chun Ling Huang's expression changed again and again. She said coldly, "My heart is like iron." "No, I have no heart to begin with. How can my heart be like iron? All I seek is the great Tao, to exchange the fake for the real. I even hate myself. I hate that I can't become real. How can a fake cat like you mess with my mind?" She hated it. She hated that she was a fake and could not replace the real. She hated that her real body was useless. She hated that she could not break free from her shackles for tens of thousands of years and became a lover that she looked down on in the past. She was Chun Ling Huang, the only female empress of the 3 realms. She was Chun Ling Huang. She had severed her desires and destroyed humanity. She killed her way to the 9 heavens and ruled the 3 realms. She did not rely on her identity as a woman to reach the 9 heavens. At this moment, why would she need a fake cat to send her off and send her on her way? Even if she died, she was still Chun Ling Huang. She hated that her real body still existed. She had embarrassed Chun Ling Huang. The so-called empress was ashamed to be associated with her. "Master, sob, cry, get lost." Chun-Ling Huang was furious. Even if her broken leg could not be healed quickly, she still used all her strength to kick Third Cat. Don't cry. You can't cry when you're my cat. Everyone can cry, but I can't. I'm the only empress who can suppress the three realms. Boom. Third Cat was not kicked away. It hugged her broken leg tightly and sobbed. Don't cry, don't cry. Master, I won't cry. In front, Fang Ping was holding a Changdao, but he could not cut down. The Changdao's glare had already scratched Chun-Ling Huang's cheek, but Fang Ping could not cut down. Fang Ping was a little hysterical, a little crazy. What the hell? He glared at Third Cat. Is this your origin projection? Motherf asterisk her, you're crying. Didn't you say that you've only cried a few times in your life? You're acting pitiful in front of me. Third Cat looked innocent, looking at Fang Ping miserably. He did not know. Third Cat was so fat. Who knew it could cry? Fat people did not like to cry. Fang Ping made up his mind. If he did not kill Chun-Ling Huang, if Chun-Ling Huang messed up, he would be doomed eternally. Acting pitiful was useless. If Third Cat messed up again, he would cut Third Cat too. As he gritted his teeth and prepared to swing his saber, someone sighed beside his ear. Killing a clone won't solve the problem. Those who deserve to die will still die. Those who don't deserve to die won't die. Big Cat, Third Cat. Second Cat was extremely excited. It jumped over with a swoosh, jumping on top of Third Cat's head. It pulled Third Cat by the ear. Second Cat. Third Cat was also very surprised. I thought you weren't coming. You owed me 3 little fish and didn't give them to me. I made a mistake when I was calculating earlier. I gave you an extra bag of snacks. Big Cat is so stingy. Second Cat was unhappy, so it asked for an extra bag of snacks. You still remember. How stingy. I'm not stingy. Third Cat was also unhappy. I prepared a lot of delicious food for you. Those are for you, for the boss to give to the little brother. But humans say that between brothers, accounts should be settled clearly. It was a transaction, so you have to give it to me. Third Cat was also a different person. The gift was a gift, the transaction was a transaction. Giving less than 3 fish would not do. Otherwise, would the swindler not look down on me? He thought that I did not know how to calculate. I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you. Many little fish appeared in Second Cat's paws. They were all stuffed into Third Cat's mouth. It muttered, I don't care about this. It's not delicious. The ones you gave me are better. Big Cat, where are the delicious food you gave me? They're all here. The 2 cats chatted with each other, but not many people paid attention to them. Fang Ping squinted, looking at Heavenly Battle Emperor, who was walking out of the darkness. His gaze was solemn. Heavenly Battle Emperor had not appeared. Initially, he thought that he would not come out. Unexpectedly, he did. Why did he come out now? Heavenly Battle Emperor had a smile on his face. He looked at Jun, at Hongyu and the rest, and at Spirit Emperor. He nodded slightly and chuckled. Everyone, long time no see. Heavenly King Jun also looked at John, his gaze a little complicated. You came out now. Let's go, take a look, and meet our young friend Fang Ping. Heavenly Battle Emperor looked at Fang Ping. Seeing that he was covered in the stench of blood, he could not help but laugh. I know that you people hate me for lecturing, but now that I've met you, I still have to say a few more words. In the face of a great war, be it demons or immortals, in order to survive, you have to do it. After the war, you should cultivate your character, study hard, and grind away this murderous aura. As Heavenly Battle Emperor spoke, he looked at Spirit Emperor and chuckled. You're my elder. I shouldn't be lecturing you, but after living for so many years, your temper is still like this. What a headache. your vengeance, your resentment, they were not given by Fang Ping. Why fight for a moment of anger? Repay resentment with kindness. Repay resentment with honesty. If there's resentment, if there's hatred, find the person who brings it. Raise a cat, whether it's real or fake. It has accompanied you for 80,000 years. Even a heart of steel can melt its tenderness. Heavenly Battle Emperor smiled warmly. He did not care about Spirit Emperor's cold stare. He looked at Fang Ping again and smiled. You want to take this seed? You want to stop me? Fang Ping's gaze was cold. Jean brought him quite a big threat. I can't stop you, and I don't want to. Heavenly Battle Emperor laughed. I just want to say a few more words. The Three Realms calamity is not as simple as the calamity of the origin. Of course, the most important thing now is the calamity of the origin. The 9 emperors, Heavenly Emperor, Combat, Sun God, and even Jean are all calamities. Killing one person will not solve anything. Everything must be traced back to the source and solved from the root. What are you trying to say? Sigh, there's no point in talking about it. Heavenly Battle Emperor was dispirited. He was illiterate. A martial artist ruled the Tao. No wonder the Tao of the Three Realms was becoming more and more superficial. You're so annoying. Fang Ping cursed under his breath. Why do I see some contempt in your eyes? F*CK. I've seen this look before. Every time I come across an ancient text that I don't understand, someone will despise me. Old Wang, Tai Tu, Old Yao, Qin Feng Qing, these fellows have despised me before. Heavenly Battle Emperor, this bastard. Previously, he had quite admired him. Of course, he had also secretly called him an idiot. But now, he was actually despised by him. How infuriating. P.S. Promote this book. Our book friend's Great Sorcerer's Path is going to be published soon. Brothers, please collect, subscribe, and support it. Chapter 1381. Fang Ping glared at Heavenly Emperor Jean. Heavenly Emperor Jean did not mind. He was still smiling when Fang Ping suddenly huffed. Anyone who smiles happily is either an idiot or a bad person, the kind that oozes pus. The Heavenly Battle Dwarch laughed. Was he the bad kind that oozed pus? If he was not, then he was the idiot that Fang Ping was referring to. Heavenly Emperor Jean did not argue with Fang Ping. He said softly, "The celestial realm wall is about to shatter." Fang Ping's expression changed slightly when he heard this. How long? About 3 months. The Heavenly Battle Arch looked into the sky and said slowly, initially, it wouldn't be this fast. However, now that the boundary point has appeared and martial monarchs are descending frequently, the strength of the boundary wall is no longer stable. I'm afraid it won't last much longer. The boundary wall is broken, and the 3 realms are united. Fang Ping asked in a low voice, the origin universe and 9 heavens will merge into one. First the 9 heavens, then the origin universe. The battle heavenly, Dwarch said softly. The existence of the heaven and man realm wall was to protect the old haunt and also to prevent high-level martial artists from fighting, so that they would not destroy the 3 realms. Those who should go to the 9 heavens to fight should go to the 9 heavens. Those who should go to the 8th heaven should go to the 8th heaven. Otherwise, the battle between the martial monarchs would be just like the past. The heavenly realm would shatter, the earthly realm would shatter, and the human realm would shatter. The celestial mortal realm wall, which originally protected the old haunt and restricted the strong, later had other uses. What? Fang Ping looked at him. Actually, he already had an idea. Without waiting for Heavenly Emperor Jean to reply, he let out a soft humph. The barrier that separates the human world, sort of. Jean Tiendi was not surprised that Jiang Yi could think of all these. He said softly, when the source has a problem, the world wall will become an existence that traps the human world. Battle Heavenly Darch asked again, can you guys hold on in 3 months? Fang Ping was silent. How could this be? 3 months from now, even if he could fight an emperor, what use would it be? 3 months later, even if the human race cultivated in an environment full of vitality, to what extent could they cultivate? 3 months was too short. It was unimaginably short. The battle, Heavenly Darch chuckled. Sovereign, even I cannot do anything to them now. Even if he could kill one person, so what? There isn't only one sovereign. Killing one person is useless. As soon as he said that, the look in Fang Ping and the other's eyes changed. How arrogant! So what if he killed one person? Emperor, it was true that these people had broken through 9 in the past, but not now. Even a weakling would have a vitality of more than 60 million calories. This was no longer the same as when he had just attained Tao 30,000 years ago. The heavenly battle thearcha's projection was indeed arrogant. Zhang Tiandi, however, did not explain anything. Instead, he said, the only thing I can do now is to buy some time for you. Fang Ping looked at him and frowned. What are you trying to do? What's the purpose? I don't want to do anything. I just hope that the 3 realms can have less slaughter and less death. The heaven battling Darch said slowly, the sky of the 3 realms is always blood red. It has been a long time since I last saw the blue sky and white clouds. The human world is my homeland, and even more so my hometown. I still hope that our homeland will exist forever. Don't bury our homeland for the sake of seeds. After saying that, he ignored Fang Ping and looked at Spirit Emperor, chuckling. Since you want to meet the Celestial Emperor, how about I send you to meet him? Emperor Ling's expression changed slightly. Even though it was just a projection, she did not look down on Zhang Tiandi. Many powerhouses were like this. They treated people of the same level as them differently. As for new powerhouses like Fang Ping and opportunistic people, even if they were not as strong as him, she would not be convinced. However, Zhang was a prodigy of that era. He was known as the second most powerful person after the Celestial Emperor. At this moment, although Spirit Emperor's expression was still cold, her tone was no longer cold. She said in a low voice, "What do you want?" "I will send you to meet him. I am afraid that my strength alone is not enough. I want to borrow some strength. I hope that Spirit Emperor will allow me to do so." Spirit Emperor looked at him, then at the blood-colored longbow on his back. Suddenly, she seemed to have understood something. A flash of sadness flashed across her eyes. She laughed coldly. "Back then, you did not shoot that arrow. Today, you are already dead. Do you still want to recreate the glory of the past?" The arrow pointed at the emperors. This was the most glorious and daring moment of Zhang's life. However, he still did not shoot that arrow. Otherwise, history might be rewritten today. That day, if he was willing to fight, many people would have fought with him. Celestial Emperor Batian, Celestial Emperor, Exterminating Emperor, and even East Emperor and Human Emperor could have stood on his side. It would not be like what happened later. Everyone had lost all hope and changed their minds. Back then, he did not shoot that arrow. No one knew if Zhang regretted it, but the 9 emperors had thought about it many times. That arrow was a turning point in the ancient times. Zhang Tiandi laughed. "Spirit Emperor, are you willing to help me?" Spirit Emperor glanced at Fang Ping and the rest and laughed coldly. "Do I have a choice?" "No," Zhang Tiandi sighed. "This avatar of yours has already left the control of Spirit Emperor's real body. After you leave, Spirit Emperor will also kill you. If that's the case, then help me this time. I will send you to meet the Celestial Emperor, and fulfill your wish. Isn't that better than now? Hypocrite! Spirit Emperor laughed coldly. Jean, you are still so hypocritical today. What a joke! Perhaps. Jean Tiendy's interest waned. He murmured, Back then, I never thought that I would live until today. Spirit Emperor's expression changed. She laughed coldly. All right, I agree, but the current you, even with my help, might not be able to do it. It's all right. Jean Tiendy looked at the tunnel behind him. With a wave of his hand, the tunnel disappeared. The next moment, everyone saw the people on the other side of the tunnel. Dragon transformation, Lindsay, Zhan Wang, Li Zhen, Wang Jinyang. At this moment, Wang Jinyang also looked at Jean Tiendy and the longbow on his back. Instantly, he knew who this person was. Jean. Both of them looked similar. Their auras were similar too. However, there were differences. Jean Tiendy was gentler, while Wang Jinyang was colder. Jean Tiendy looked at Wang Jinyang and smiled. Why don't you come over for a chat? Wang Jinyang's eyes flashed. Without hesitation, he flew over. Just as he arrived, Fang Ping appeared in front of him and blocked his way. Looking at Jean Tiendy, Fang Ping asked coldly, What do you want? Jean Tiendy laughed. Behind him, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, Nothing, I just want to talk to him. Old Wang, it's all right. Old Wang said in a low voice, I've wanted to see him for a long time. Since I've met him by chance today, I've fulfilled my wish. Fang Ping narrowed his eyes, glanced at Jean Tiendy, and made way. In the next moment, Old Wang flew forward and stood opposite Jean Tiendy. They were about the same height. One had long hair, the other had short hair. Their auras were similar. At this moment, both of them were carrying blood-colored longbows. Greetings, Senior. Old Wang bowed slightly. Jean Tiendy returned the greeting and smiled. Greetings, fellow Taoist. Both of them stood up and looked at each other. Jean Tiendy looked at him for a while before chuckling. Compared to this demon king, I'm slightly better. Fang Ping pursed his lips. Praising himself, Old Wang did not mind. He looked at him and asked, Senior, do you have any instructions for me? Not really instructions. I just want to borrow your body. As soon as he said that, Fang Ping raised his saber and slashed. Jean Tiendy shifted slightly and dodged the slash. He smiled. You're too impatient. I'm not trying to take over your body. Although we share the same origin, Jean had fallen long ago. I'm just borrowing your body. It'll be more convenient. Wang Jinyang waved his hand and said in a low voice, What does Senior want to do? Shoot the arrow that I didn't shoot in the past. As soon as he said that, the god of war bow on Wang Jinyang's back suddenly disappeared and landed in Jean Tiendy's hand. Jean Tiendy caressed it for a while and sighed. It's a good thing that this bow is still here. Old Wang looked at him. After a while, he asked in a low voice, Who's the target? Jean Tiendy smiled. Who do you want it to be? Fang Ping hurriedly interrupted. You want to shoot the arrow? What's your strength? Can you kill the emperor? If you can, how about killing the god emperor? Jean Tiendy glanced at him, but ignored him. He looked at Old Wang again. Old Wang said in a low voice, You don't want to kill those people. It's hard to kill them. Even if they are destroyed, they can still be revived. Old Wang was silent for a while before saying, Stop the enemy. If Fang Ping wants to take the seed away, the emperor will definitely kill him. Stop the enemy and let him return. I'm willing to lend my body to you. Stop the enemy, Jean Tiendy chuckled. Actually, you can be like celestial fate and accept some of my power. If that's the case, it won't be so troublesome. Fang Ping interrupted again. If he accepts your power, how far can he go? Will you take over his body? Jean Tiendy looked at him and sighed. It's impolite to interrupt others when they're talking. Impolite my ass. Fang Ping scolded. Don't think that I won't kill you just because you and Old Wang are of the same origin. Don't provoke me. If you provoke me, I'll chop you into pieces too. No, your body is gone. Where are you going to get pieces of meat? Zhang Tiandi was speechless. When you meet an unreasonable person, it's useless to reason with him. Zhang Tiandi chuckled. If he accepts my power, he should be slightly stronger than celestial fate, close to breaking through to the 8th level. So strong. Fang Ping was surprised. He was considered strong, close to breaking through to the 8th level. Fang Ping looked at Old Wang hurriedly. Old Wang ignored Fang Ping and looked at Zhang Tiandi for a while, as if he was calculating something. Soon he said, I'll help you shoot that arrow. That's good too. Zhang Tiandi smiled. Then he looked at the powerhouses around him and said slowly, Everyone, it's time to leave. Everyone frowned. Hong Kuan and the rest also looked at Fang Ping. Leave? If they left now, they could only go through the human world's passageway. Would Fang Ping let them go through this passageway? At this moment, Fang Ping was also frowning. Zhang Tiandi said again, If we don't leave now, this place will be destroyed. Even if all of you don't die, some of you will be implicated. There aren't many powerhouses in the 3 realms anymore. If a few more die, there will be even fewer. Fang Ping glanced at Old Zhang. Old Zhang said in a low voice, We can let them go through the human world. If you don't die, they won't dare to do anything. If you die, it doesn't matter if they attack now or in the future. On the other side, Heavenly King Zhen said gloomily, Aren't I still here? It's time for me to leave. What's there to worry about? He was looking down on him. His origin avatar was still sitting cross-legged and would not leave anytime soon. However, a beginner avatar still had to leave. This Zhang brat did not take him seriously at all. Zhang Tao seemed to have just remembered him. He glanced at him and looked at Fang Ping. With him around, it's even safer. Why don't we leave together? As he said that, he looked at Zhang Tiandi. Senior Zhang, if we leave, can you destroy the seed with 1 arrow? Yes. Zhang Tiandi smiled. If you want to do that, it's possible too. All of you can leave first. It's indeed a foolproof plan. However, Fang Ping snorted coldly. I don't trust him. If he collects the seed and passes it to the emperors will find the real seed. It's on Earth. Today will be the day of Earth's destruction. He would not trust Zhang Tiandi wholeheartedly. Although he had a good impression of him previously, it did not mean that he was willing to put his future in the hands of others. He would take the seed himself. He could either take it away, digest it himself, or destroy it directly. In any case, he would never let Zhang Tiandi take it away or destroy it. There was also Spirit Emperor. Fang Ping glanced at Zhang Tiandi again. Zhang Tiandi seemed to have reached an agreement with the other party. Fang Ping did not know what it was. After thinking about it, he chose to ignore it. Since Zhang Tiandi was here, Spirit Emperor and Zhang Tiandi were both threats. There was no difference whether it was 1 or 2 threats. The key was that Fang Ping could not hold on any longer. The mystic realm could not hold on any longer. If he killed these 2, the mystic realm might collapse before he could finish killing them. Fang Ping looked at Hong Kuan and the rest and said coldly, Everyone, you can leave now. If you stay here, you might be the emperor's men. Later, collect the seed and pass it to the emperors. However, after you leave this place and enter Earth, leave quickly. Otherwise, if I don't die, don't blame me for being merciless. An air-piercing sound was heard. In the next moment, Celestial was already in front of the black hole. He said quickly, Let me go first. Once I enter the human world, I'll leave immediately and return to West Palace. This fellow's speed was unusually fast. With Long Bien and the rest blocking the way, he could not force his way through. At this moment, he said anxiously, "Hurry up! I promise I won't stay in the human world. I won't stay even if you wanna." Who wanted to stay in the human world? Anyway, he would not. Once he entered the human world, he would leave immediately and return to West Palace. It was better to get as far away from this damned place as possible. He had broken 7 out of nowhere. Now, he might be in a life-threatening crisis. Fong Ping nodded slightly. Long Bien and the rest made way for him. Old Zhang gestured with his eyes, and the warlord followed. Celestial, who had broken 7, was still very strong. However, it was just a gesture. Would Celestial go on a killing spree on Earth? That was almost impossible. Seeing that, the rest did not stay. Hong Kuan said coldly, "Don't forget your promise." Zhang Tao smiled. "Of course not. Senior Heavenly King Zhen, send them off." As soon as he said that, they felt a little uncomfortable. What did he mean by send them off? On the other side, Hong Yu suddenly said, "Where's Brother Li?" As soon as he said that, Li Zhen suddenly raised a small ball in his hand. This, a mini skull. It was small and cute. Vaguely, Li Zhu's appearance could be seen. Li Zhu had been captured alive. At this moment, Li Zhu's injuries were extremely severe. Otherwise, Li Zhen wouldn't have been able to crush him so easily. Li Zhen tossed the skull casually and sneered. "It's a pity that I couldn't kill him back then. I didn't expect that he would still fall into my hands today." Back then was referring to more than 10 years ago when he had proven his Tao and killed the 3 divine generals. The left divine general died in battle. The right divine general was severely injured, and Li Zhu's Tao was destroyed. However, the rest did not bother to say anything. Li Zhu might have done this intentionally. Otherwise, Li Zhen would not have been able to defeat them so easily. Hong Yu looked at Li Zhu's skull, feeling helpless. His injuries were very serious. This time, Li Zhu was in the worst condition among those who broke 8. Fong Ping had wanted to kill Li Zhu for a long time. "Brother Zhang," Hong Yu looked at old Zhang. Old Zhang glanced at Li Zhu's mini skull and said lightly, "Li Zhen, return it to Hong Yu. Be gentle. Don't break Brother Li's head." "All right." Li Zhen grinned. He understood now. They had worked together for many years. Did he not understand? There was a rumble. Like a shot put, Li Zhen threw the skull towards Hong Yu with all his might. Boom! Li Zhu's mini skull started to crack. Hong Yu sighed softly. He reached out and grabbed the skull that was almost completely shattered. "Brother Yu," Li Zhu's weak voice was heard. He was almost done for. Hong Yu did not say anything. He channeled some vitality to nourish the skull. Fong Ping sneered. "You were lucky this time. You won't be so lucky next time. Li Zhu, the next time you see me, run as far away as you can. Those who have been defeated by me once will never be able to make a comeback. You didn't die this time. Next time, I will kill you." Li Zhu did not say anything. Fong Ping did not bother to say anything. With a rumble, his body broke into pieces. In the next moment, more than 10 beginner martial powerhouses fell to the ground, their faces pale. Even Underworld God and Heavenly Arm, who had broken 8, could not take it anymore. Fong Ping looked at them and said slowly, "Everyone, you can leave now." At this moment, Fong Ping's chi had recovered to the stage of breaking 8. Underworld God looked at Fong Ping, then at Heavenly Emperor Zhan, and finally at the 3 cats that were fighting each other. She nodded slightly and did not say anything. However, after looking at Heavenly Emperor Zhan, she asked in a low voice, "Zhan, in the past, you were the friendliest to beginner martial artists. I would like to ask, does beginner martial artists have a way out?" Heavenly Emperor Jean chuckled. Yes, but beginner martial artists did not suffer for no reason. In the past, there were a few beginner martial artists who secretly stole some of the Origin's energy, causing the Origin's loophole to expand. These people were unwilling to return the Origin's energy. You guys were also implicated by them. As soon as he said this, Underworld God seemed to know something. She frowned slightly, cupped her hands, and did not ask any more. It was not for no reason that beginner martial artists suffered for no reason. Some of it was because of the beginner martial artists themselves. They were only suffering on behalf of others. Heavenly Arm asked hurriedly, "When will Fist God and the rest be able to escape?" "Soon." Heavenly Arm heaved a sigh of relief. That was good. Today, there were more and more beginner martial artists who had broken 8. On the side of beginner martial artists, there were only the 3 of them. If Fist God and the rest could not escape, the gap between the combat strength of beginner martial artists and the Origin would be too big. These people did not stay any longer and left one after another. Heavenly King Jun glanced at Zhang Tao and the rest. Without saying much, he quickly followed them as if they were escorting them, in case these people stayed on Earth and caused something to happen to Earth. On the other side, Dragon Transformation and the rest did not leave. Old Zhang said, "The guy should leave too." Then Old Zhang smiled. "Don't worry about us. We will leave when it's time." Everyone looked at each other. They were worried, but there was nothing they could do. That was the only way. One by one, the powerhouses began to enter the passageway and leave this place. There were fewer and fewer people. In the end, only Fang Ping, Zhang Tao, Wang Jinyang, Heavenly King Zhen's Origin clone, Zhan, Spirit Emperor, and 3 cats who were still playing were left. "Cat, it's time to go back." The cat that was playing was currently dragging the 3 cats' tails. Upon hearing that, it raised its head and said reluctantly, "Do we have to leave now? This place is about to collapse." "All right then." Cat was reluctant to leave. It looked at Cat 2 and Cat 3 and said, "Cat 2, Cat 3, let's go together. There's still a lot of delicious food in my cat palace. Also, the big tree that was just chopped down. We still have the Emperor beverage to drink." Cat 2 and Cat 3, who were still playing, looked at each other. Cat 2 jumped onto Heavenly King Zhen's shoulder and waved its paw. "Big cat, you go back. I'm not leaving." Cat 3 also swayed its fat body and ran to Spirit Emperor's side. "Big cat, I'm not leaving either." Cat 2 looked reluctant. "Why aren't you leaving? There's no point for you guys to stay. Come with me. We'll eat and drink. We'll fight whoever we don't like. Also, we haven't caught the big fish yet. If we go fishing again, I'm not eating anymore. Big cat, help us eat more." Cat 2's face was full of smiles. "Go back quickly. We'll visit you again if there's a chance. Remember to leave some delicious food for us. Don't finish everything." Cat 2, "Let's go, let's go." Cat 2 waved its paw in disgust. Cat 2 looked reluctant. Fang Ping glanced at it and did not say anything. He looked at Old Zhang and said, "You go back too." "I'll wait." Old Zhang thought for a while and said, "I'll wait for you at the passageway entrance. You might still need me at the crucial moment. Moreover, the passageway needs to be destroyed, lest the Emperor uses the power of the passageway to reach Earth." Fang Ping thought for a while and nodded. "All right then. Heavenly King Zhen is over there. If there's danger, return immediately and join forces with Heavenly King Zhen and the others to destroy the passageway. All right." Old Zhang looked up at the increasingly illusory seed and exhaled. "Be careful. I'll wait for you here." Having said that, he sent a voice transmission. "If it doesn't work, run over there. That old fellow. Even if this avatar dies, doesn't he still have another avatar alive? He's strong. At the crucial moment, he can block the knife for you. Fong Ping glanced at Heavenly King Zhen, who was still sitting cross-legged, and laughed. Old Zhang was also a black-hearted person. He asked him to run to Heavenly King Zhen at the crucial moment. Obviously, he would rather kill Heavenly King Zhen's origin avatar than let Fong Ping die. Heavenly King Zhen's origin avatar had not left yet. Fong Ping suspected that this fellow had not broken through and might be waiting for the right time. Fong Ping nodded slightly and did not say much. Remember, also, you've lost your fusion ability now. Your strength is only at breakthrough 8. Don't mess around. If it really doesn't work, just give up. Got it? Fong Ping said impatiently. Stop nagging. Hurry up and leave. Old Zhang took a deep breath, still a little worried. I'm afraid I won't make it in time. How about I enter your origin world? No need. But Old Zhang was worried that Fong Ping could not withstand it now. In Fong Ping's origin, if his Tao was broken at the crucial moment, Fong Ping might still be able to unleash an outburst. Even if he could not kill the Emperor, he could still find a chance to leave this place. As long as they left the boundary point, the Emperor would be restricted and would not be able to descend. Even if they descended, their strength would not be as strong as now. No buts. Fong Ping interrupted. You and I are both dead. Don't tell me the human race will be handed over to that old geezer, Heavenly King Suppression? That old geezer might be up to no good. When you go back, you can still restrain yourself a little. Hurry up. Old Zhang took a deep breath. This time, without further delay, he hurried to the side of the black hole. Big cat, you go too? Meow. The gray cat looked at the two cats reluctantly. It could not bear to part with them. 2 cats, 3 cats. The gray cat took out a lot of food again. It used flight step and stuffed a lot of food into the 2 cats. With a pained expression, it suddenly took out 2 drops of white liquid and said reluctantly, "This is the Emperor's beverage." The big tree exploded. There's not much left. You guys can have some too. It's delicious. I just secretly drank a drop. It's especially delicious. A smile appeared on 2 cats' face. 3rd cat was also beaming with joy. This time, they did not refuse. 3rd cat said happily, "The Emperor's beverage. Big cat is amazing." Of course. Otherwise, how can I be your boss? The gray cat was delighted. Seeing that the 2 cats had accepted its gift, it walked reluctantly to the side of the black hole, but did not leave. It and Zhang Tao waited here, waiting for Fong Ping to leave together. Seeing that they had arranged everything, Heavenly Emperor looked up at the sky again, then at Wang Jinyang. He smiled. Then, shall we merge? Fong Ping frowned. Old Wang did not care about this. He nodded lightly. In the next moment, Heavenly Emperor took a step forward and merged into Old Wang's body. Both of them merged. Old Wang's aura flickered for a moment. Very quickly, he regained his calmness. 2 cats also jumped onto Old Wang's shoulder. Obviously, Old Wang was now Heavenly Emperor. Not far away, the Spirit Emperor recovered her broken leg. She glanced at 3rd cat and said coldly, "Are you really not leaving with the gray cat?" "I'm not leaving." 3rd cat looked at her pitifully. At this moment, the ice-cold Spirit Emperor suddenly flashed a smile. It disappeared in a flash, like an iceberg melting. "Then follow me." With the tip of her foot, 3rd cat landed on her shoulder. Spirit Emperor patted 3rd cat's head. 3rd cat shrunk a lot, unlike before when they almost covered Spirit Emperor. 2 cats, one on Heavenly Emperor's shoulder and the other on Spirit Emperor's shoulder, were waving their claws at 3rd cat. "Goodbye, big cat." At this moment, Heavenly Emperor, who had possessed Old Wang, said slowly, "You can go collect the seeds now." Fong Ping took a deep breath. Without hesitation, he leaped into the sky. At the same time, A silhouette moved as fast as lightning. Fong Ping's shoulder sank. Third cat jumped onto his shoulder, its face full of joy. 3 people, 3 cats. You don't have a cat, so it's not neat. Fong Ping's movement was slightly sluggish. Then a smile appeared on his face. Then I'll bring you along to play with the emperor. As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Ping's speed increased. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of the baby silkworm. Collect! With a low roar, Fong Ping used one hand to cover the sky and grabbed the baby silkworm. Rumble! The void around them shook. The entire arcane realm began to collapse. The arcane realm was about to be destroyed. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.